Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube, it says.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Let's see how this looks.
I don't see a margarita in front of Cynthia. It can't be the real Cynthia.
I have water. It's because I have to be on my best behavior and not give up all the secrets. So I can't get drunk. I talk too much when I drink.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, yeah. My mouth just runs like I don't know what. And then I get naked, and then I'm on YouTube, and then my parents are embarrassed. So whatever.
Oh, that's right. You missed it, Dale, on the last show. Cynthia told us how her parents did see that picture of her at Ojo Caliente.
Are we live now?
We're live.
Because I was going to say what my dad said to me, and it's like, no, I'm not going to say that on YouTube.
All right. So your parents saw that picture, and
and what's really weird about it? So I usually send my parents the link directly to my blog articles. That's what I would do. And I never sent them a link, obviously, to that article. But when I sent them a link to the next one, apparently, somehow, they clicked on it.
They saw they figured out how to look at.
I don't know what they figured out, but they saw
it. Whoops. So, were your folks disappointed?
No, I think they were. Well, I don't know if proud,
yeah.
I'll tell you what.
All right.
I'm not any different now than I was as a kid growing up. So as far as the nudity, I'm sure that per se would not have shocked them at all. But I'm sure they were not expecting that on my YouTube channel or on my website. So.
Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord! So yes, welcome everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be relying on you guys again to let me know if audio is poor. I think I fixed the echo issue, so let me know if that's not fixed. We already have some Amy Seeks chasing, and he says, hi, Dale. Hi, Cynthia. Minotaur Moreno says, out of the labyrinth and into the chat room, the Minotaur is here. All right, I think we sound pretty good. So for anyone who doesn't know yet, there was an article recently released by The Finder. The majority of people pretty much think it is The Finder. And so we're going to be discussing that as well. But first off, the little bit of information that Cynthia was going to share with us, which she was like, people don't even want to know anymore. Who cares? But I still think it's a part of this 1,000-piece puzzle that is going to be nice to know. It's going to be good to know. And I know people are wanting, oh, Tom Walker. Tom Walker's in the room.
All right.
Hi, Dale. Tom. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Amy. Everyone is looking great. Well, we can fix that. Okay. So
nice. And I thought you had so much class.
Oh, come on. Okay, yes. So tonight's show, we're obviously going to talk about the Finder and all the new information. Cynthia first is going to give us her little nugget of information that kind of fills in one of the puzzle pieces. And we also have the new doodles. So I'm going to let kind of Cynthia and Dale decide on what we want to talk about and when. And, but first off, Cynthia, the floor is yours for the information that right now seems less important.
Yeah, so when Amy and I first talked about doing this show, I told her that I had something just pretty minuscule that I could share with the community that at least answered one question that people discussed over the last 10 years. What happened was I actually was able to visit Forrest at his home the end of August, and he actually had it set up outside his house in the trees where we social distance. We didn't have to wear a mask, but our chairs were like, I don't know, at least probably 8 feet apart or whatever. Not that any of this matters, but anyway, so we're sitting there having a really nice visit, and there was like a law in the conversation, and I said to Forrest, and I generally never ask him specific questions about the treasure or the finder or Wyoming or whatever. And so, but I said, Forrest, I think the finder must be in a pickle because of the income tax he will now have to pay. And Forrest looked at me and he said, Cynthia, I have something to tell you. And then he said, no, I'm not going to tell you. And then he hesitated and he said, okay, I'm going to tell you. And he said the way it worked was the finder returned the chest to him. Forrest took the chest, and he actually used his hands and made gestures. He said he took the chest, he handed it back to the finder and said, I am gifting this to you. And he said it took 5 seconds. So Forrest went on to say, I don't remember the rest of that particular conversation. I mean, it's sort of irrelevant, but he started talking about like I don't know if it was a one-time gift, a lifetime gift that currently the year 2020, it could be valued at like $18 million or something. And the person that you gifted it to did not have to pay income tax on it. And he said the chest fell way below that value. So
a one-time gift, a one-time gift.
And he said all along, that was his plan. That's how he would know when the chest was found. And I'm pretty sure he said that the directions to do this were inside the chest. So he knew. That's why he could say for 10 years that he would know when it was found. Now, I guess.
Right, so basically the finder retrieved the chest for Forrest.
Returned it to him.
Yeah, returned the chest. Forrest said, thank you. Would you like a chest? Basically, is that?
Yeah, he actually told me, he said, I want you to have it. I'm gifting it to you. And he handed it back.
And then the bracelet. You wanted me to make sure I didn't forget to.
Yeah, well, that's sort of been answered. So then I followed up.
It's still weird.
Yeah, so then I followed up that with, I asked Forrest, did the finder allow you to keep the bracelet? And Forrest said, I cannot answer that, or I will not answer that. And then I said, well, I couldn't understand why he couldn't answer that. So I said, well, everybody I know that was a searcher, everybody said, if they find the treasure chest, they will return the bracelet to you. And he said, I won't answer that. So he never told me, but in today's story, the finder said he did give Forrest back the bracelet.
So, I mean,
so that is
to me, that was huge. Knowing that it was, now granted, it was one of the prevailing theories of what people thought.
Yeah.
You know, it's not shocking in any way. But I think it's definitely, for me, that was really huge. I don't know. Did you know anything about that, Dale, or do you have an opinion about that?
No, it comes as kind of a surprise to me because I always felt that Forrest had said, and you know, this is my interpretation of what Forrest said. He probably never really said this. It's probably just how I remembered him saying it. But, you know, but I thought he said something to the effect of, you know, there's no secret documents in the chest. There's no directions. There's no, you know, you don't have to, you're not going to find a piece of paper where the chest should be that's going to send you to a bank or something like that. And so I always kind of thought that that there wouldn't be anything weird. I thought the chest would be just straightforward. Oh, I can hear myself now coming through your mic, Amy. So I always thought that was kind of, I mean, that, you know, there was never going to be any special directions about what to do with inside the chest.
Well, he didn't say it to me, but maybe it was totally up to the finder if they wanted to do this or not. You could have been the finder and just taken it home and sent Forrest a picture and say, I found it, and not returned it. But then then I don't know what happens if the IRS catches you. So in other words, if you were actually finding the chest to make money for it, and then you were going to take that chest to like Christie's auction house or whatever, you would then, I mean, then the IRS is going to know that you have it. Then you're going to have to pay income tax and blah, blah, blah. So it seems to me that this would have been the smartest thing to do.
Well, and obviously this present situation is obviously the result of the finder not wanting to be known, not wanting the IRS to know, not wanting to have to deal with the ridiculous legal situation that Forrest found himself in, and not wanting people claiming that they found the chest ahead of him and putting him in court for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, I don't blame the finder for a second for not being for remaining hidden. You know, and not declaring that by name that he found the chest. Or I think that's a smart thing to do. I've also heard rumors. You know, everybody talks about, well, that's not what was in the chest. We saw all these things. Where's this? Where's that? You know, they're not in any of the pictures. And I've also heard rumors that many of those things never were in the chest. I mean, they were in there for a photograph. Remember, Forrest told us many times that he rearranged what was in that chest. So, and that the photograph that we had was not the final arrangement of things that were in that chest. He also said that he wanted it to be, you know, he wanted the person who found it to be awestruck. I can't remember his words, but something to that effect.
But basically, jaw-dropping, like, oh.
Yeah. And I don't know what was left in the chest, but people, you know, are often saying that can't be the real chest because where's this, where's that? Well, I don't know. It makes sense to me. Forrest rearranged things, and those things are not in the chest. I'm sorry. You know?
Right. And so there are some questions coming in from chat. If that's the case, why not sell the chest and give out the solve if there's no taxes, that kind of stuff? I'm guessing it's the same reason Dale was talking about, is like in the article, he didn't want to be constantly looking behind his back for, you know, his family and being scared.
Well, there's all kinds of answers that also have to be, once this person says where the chest is, or, you know, in my possession, once that happens, then he's going to be hounded to death about where was it found. And if it was found in a place where legally, maybe you had no right to take it. I mean, there are just lots of things. Yeah, inside Yellowstone or on private property. Who knows at this point? But why deal with all that? It's so much easier just to remain anonymous.
Yeah. And just a real quick recap, we have people, kind of a new group of people joining us. So Cynthia just shared the information with us that Forrest, here's Justin, that Forrest shared information with her about how the finder had the chest, and there was a message, you know, in the treasure chest that basically said, you know, return the chest to me. So the finder retrieved the chest for Forrest, gave it to Forrest, and then Forrest said, thank you, here's a chest, and gave with this one-time gift of a lifetime, gave it to that person tax-free. And that's basically the information that was just shared. And that's what we're currently talking about. So there you go. And there's more questions from chat. Hi, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
You look familiar. Do I know you?
Vaguely.
So here's some more questions from chat. That's why Forrest said, it depends if they want the government to know or not. Chasing Indy says, can you please ask Dale why Forrest decided to write the scrapbook Toe to Toe? Where's your drink, Amy Seeks?
Yeah.
Right there. Did you notice the front of the chest was not bent like the original find picture? I really think that was a photographic thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. Direct your questions to @Amy Seeks. There we go. Okay, so I guess we have the toe-to-toe comment and the basics about, you know, if he wants the government to know about the chest. Discuss.
Well, go ahead, Cynthia.
So I just wanted to make comments about what we really actually do know. We know that Forrest sent Dale a picture. I mean, these are the pictures that Dale published. One was the treasure chest near the location where it was found, and then 2 pictures of Forrest in an office with him, one wearing the bracelet, the other him sitting there and looking at the items from the chest. Then in today's story, more pictures of Forrest and the items. It appears to be in the very same office. So I don't see, I know people are saying that they don't believe there was a finder. I mean, that's one of the conspiracies, or the fact that today's story is legit.
Yeah, I don't question that either.
So we know, so now that I have shared the story that Forrest handed the treasure back to the finder and said, "I'm gifting this to you," or whatever phrase he used, it's legal. I mean, it's a legal, now it seems like it was a legal transfer of an object. So obviously there had to be at least one attorney there, right? Forrest's attorney or lawyer had to have been there, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's probably his lawyer's office. Look at the table. It looks like something that would be in a legal office. So I don't find it odd at all that this was the way Forrest expected it to be returned, and he gave it back to be tax-free. And with a lawyer being there, isn't it likely that either one lawyer or maybe the finder had his own lawyer, or he didn't need a lawyer? And at that time, Forrest's lawyer created a legal document saying just that. The guy found this chest, and whether or not it lists where, but found the chest, returned it to Forrest. Forrest gifted it to him, and done deal. I mean, I just think that is so feasible and so credible sounding that I don't see how.
Yeah, it was one of the prevailing theories. That is what many, many people believed.
It seems like Occam's razor. You know, I know that there are folks that think, oh, you know, the photos on this page have been staged, or they're fake and all this. And yes, I suppose someone could have gone to great lengths to forge some of these photographs and so forth. But you know, if you look at it as a whole, and especially with the information that Cynthia's provided, it just makes sense that it's at face value.
Yeah. Occam's razor. And there's some more questions from the chat. Let's see, Journeyman, I would love to know how long Forrest looked at those scissors, those rusty scissors. Denise Bagley says, why would he think Forrest wouldn't want others to know where it was, where his special spot is? Why didn't he ask Forrest? I think Forrest wanted us to know. Zoza Rock says, why is Cynthia saying what we do know? She just stated many things we did not know. Elaborate on that, Zozo. I'm not sure what you mean. And that's caught up for now.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that those conversations didn't take place. It's entirely possible that Forrest and the finder might have discussed that in terms of revealing the final location. My guess would be that, you know, it's by revealing the final location, it's possible that that might divulge the identity of the finder in some way. You know, maybe other folks, you know, distant friends or something, knew that he was going to search in a particular area, and if, you know, that was divulged, then they could put 2 and 2 together and discover that, you know, it was this guy. I don't know, but from my perspective, it's more around protecting the sanctity of the spot. You know, this was a place that's very special to Forrest, place that he wanted to die in, and you know, by divulging that to the masses, I think, you know, there's a good chance that folks would defile it. You'd get the masses kind of pouring in there, and it'd turn into more of a tourist attraction than anything else.
I still firmly believe that that it was likely, since Forrest's heart was in Yellowstone. I firmly believe still that it was in Yellowstone, and I think it just unpacks a whole new bag of worms if the world knows for certain that it was in Yellowstone. So there's no, nobody wants that. Nobody wants those legal issues burdened onto the end of this thing, and so keep it a secret. Don't say.
At least for
Makes
a decade.
Sense. Yeah.
There's got to be a statute of limitations on something like that, where like in a decade, the finder can be like, I found it in Old Faithful, and they can't do anything.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I
I've
would
never
think in
heard
terms of
anybody say that.
Yeah, I mean, tax implications, you'd think that for the lifetime of the finder, they'd be held accountable for that. So
for tax, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but beyond that, I don't know.
And you were going to say something, Cynthia? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I totally agree with what Justin said about not revealing the location where the chest was hidden, because I know for one, as soon as I find out where it is, I'm going there. I want to see the spot. I want to experience the spot that was a special place to forest. And I bet there's 10,000 other people that would do the exact same thing.
You and I'd be racing to get there.
Yeah. And it looks like you're still in Montana, so you can beat me.
I got a leg up there.
Anyway, so the majority of the people I do believe are like us, that they would just want to go and experience it and not do anything except probably create a shrine, which if it is in Yellowstone, I doubt the Park Service would like that. Dale, do you remember when you hid the geocache thing in the park right off of Boundary Street, and how the Park Service found it and took that out? And that was little. Yeah. So imagine if it was Yellowstone and we create a shrine. I mean, can you imagine what the hell? I mean, they'd have to totally rope it all off so no one could ever go there. And then the opposite of that is you have the haters and all the naysayers and the negative people that all
would totally trash
hated
it.
forest. They've hated forest. They've hated the chase. They've hated everything about it. And I believe they would go there and they would desecrate it. They'd probably take a, there
in the area.
Yeah. I mean, they would ruin it. So you just have a few people like that and they would totally ruin it. So
wait a minute, Cynthia. Naysayers? There's naysayers involved in this?
Well, you told me there were. So anyway, I would be shocked if the finder actually ever comes out with the exact spot, but I sure would like to know some more.
Right. And there's some more questions from chat. Let's see here. K-Pro. Oh, K-Pro has a question about putting the article up. Do you think there's going to be any issues as far as permissions are concerned about putting the article on your website? And has the finder been in contact with you about the release?
I don't know. Was this for me?
Yeah, from K-Pro.
No, I don't think that there's any legal implications. It was posted on Reddit. Everything on Reddit is freely available, and as far as I'm concerned, and so I can steal it from there.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, multitasking. Go for it. Finish off.
And so no, I don't have any, and no, why would I be in contact with the finder?
I know. I already knew the answer to that, but I was going to ask it for the rest of the people. It's like, I wish, right? That would have been nice. But here's a good question that Cynthia actually knows a little bit about, because she had asked about it when she talked about how the chest was exchanged. Marty Bird wanted to know, how would this note to return the chest to Forrest work if it was found after he passed?
I asked that. And see, that was one of the things, Amy, that I forgot.
I did too. I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was just so nice seeing you. I forgot about the stuff we talked about.
And that's an excellent question, because that's the first thing I asked Forrest was, well, what if this would have been found after you had passed away? And he said, there was a way, but he wouldn't tell me what that was.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that it was something to do with estate planning, right? Like where potentially
sure,
an estate lawyer might be involved or something.
Occam's razor.
I mean, he wouldn't tell me. God, I'm hoarse from all the talking I've done today. That's all I've done. Anyway, yeah, Forrest absolutely would not give me any information to answer that question.
Cynthia's going to lose her voice like right before she starts telling us the super secret hits.
Yeah.
All right, so there's some more questions. Minotaur Moreno says, Amy Seeks, just about everyone in my family besides me believes Fenn never hit the chest. What proof do we have at this point that they are 100% wrong?
Not a lot, I'm guessing.
Chirp, 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 chirp. It's true. When it comes down to it, what proof are we looking for? What would finally convince us? Meeting the finder while he's holding the chest?
Yeah, there's millions of questions like that. What proof do we have that God exists? What proof do we, I mean, you can go on and on and on forever and ever and ever. There are people who will believe it and people who don't. And so I'm sorry.
Oh, and Chasing Indy says, I'm chopped liver. Am I missing, Chasing Indy, if I'm missing stuff, let me know. If you had said Amy Seeks and I missed it. Re-say it or something. What's this? Doug Preston said in his response to the Medium article, Doug Preston responded, I will check that out. Make sure to show your support for The Finder and other authors of fiction, #support authors. That sounds like Douglas.
Wait a minute. What does that mean?
So Douglas Preston, like if you have his, like I subscribed to his YouTube channel a while ago.
Yeah.
He supports smaller authors. So Medium is a place where people who aren't getting published can publish their work.
No, I understand all that, but it sounds like what he's saying there is that this is a work of fiction.
Oh, I think it's more along the lines of saying, since it was on Medium, which supports authors and stuff like that, I think it's more along the lines of support The Finder and, working in his own little thing, support authors too.
Oh, sounded to me like he was saying support the author and support other nonfiction work.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I kind of got the same feeling that he was alluding to the article being fiction. Maybe that was...
I'm sorry, fiction, yeah.
Okay, let me go into Medium. So real quick, Chasing Indy, I forgot Chasing Indy had asked about the toe-to-toe thing. Do you know why Fenn wrote the toe-to-toe scrapbook? And while you answer that, I'm going to go into Medium and see if I can find the exact quote from Preston.
Okay. So, well, this won't take long. Forrest, lots of people have asked me lots of different questions about many of the scrapbooks. And what I can tell you about them is that, first of all, Forrest was having fun writing them, and he enjoyed it. But like everybody, he would run out of subjects to write about, and so he would stop. He would just, he'd write 10 or 12 of them, and then he would stop because he ran out of things. And after a while, he'd come up with another idea for another 10 or 12 more about something, and he would submit those. I don't specifically remember the date or time around toe-to-toe. Do I think that he had anything specific in mind when he wrote that? I don't remember anything specific about it, about that particular scrapbook. The two that I remember that he had the most fun writing about were the ones in his bathroom. He just really had fun with those. And I think he thought everybody else would have fun with those too. And the one with I specifically remember, and let me go back to that bathroom one again. I specifically remember when he wanted to exchange his face with Brad Pitt's. Yeah, and we did that. We pasted Brad Pitt's face on there for a while, and we took it off, and I think we put somebody else's face on there for a while. Never trying to make it look good. It was just supposed to be fun, and then back to his face. I don't know how we left it. I don't know how it is now, but for a while there, like every day, we'd put somebody else's face on there, and Forrest, we were just having fun. I mean, it was just about fun for Forrest. He wasn't doing anything cryptic or odd or trying to trick anybody with that. The other thing I remember is the one with the lake in the background, the pillar in front of him, and
that rock, the floating hat.
Yeah, the floating hat and the grizzly bear in the back. And Forrest and I talked for a long time about that one, and I have no idea why he wanted to do that. I just remember him saying something like, "Can you make that hat float above my head?" And so sure, I did that. And then he'd say, he sent me there was a picture and I think I've talked about this before, but that that rock that's in the foreground that looks like it might be a blaze, or it looks like it might be, something else he's alluding to. That was in the photo, and so we had to kind of make it work somehow. And so we put part of Forrest behind it, and then after the picture was up there and posted, he said, "Well, let's put a grizzly bear in there somewhere." The only place I could see to put a grizzly bear was in the lake. So I found a picture of a bear swimming, and we threw him in the lake. I mean, these were Forrest's ideas. I did them for him, but there was nothing. I don't, if there are any hints in there, there could be. I just followed orders. I didn't question. I didn't say, why do you want a grizzly bear in there? I don't remember what the story was about. And I don't, he never told me those things. He was just having fun, and he enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it too.
So Gail, you realize the symbol for Wyoming is a cowboy holding his hat, a floating hat in the air. So if you want to reverse engineer everything now, you can. Whether or not that was intentional, we'll never know.
That's right. We'll never know. Certainly, I don't know. I was just having fun with Forrest, and having and letting him have fun with the scrapbooks. He would make a request, and I would do it, and he would laugh, and it was fun.
I mean, do you guys? Do any of you think that there were any legitimate hints placed in any of the scrapbooks? I know that a lot of folks tended to analyze and perhaps overanalyze those to try and extract information from those. And obviously it's possible there could have been, but in your opinion, do you think any of the scrapbooks contained anything of value beyond just fun?
That's a real good segue into the doodles, because Amy, what scrapbook was it that I sent you to go with the doodle about the...
That was, I'm just about to pull up, and I'll pull this.
With my newfound freedom, I might even get a piercing someplace.
That was the mirror on the car.
That was him telling everybody the Nez Perce Trail. And the only reason, I mean, that's confirmation bias for me. If you show the doodle, then people will understand why I thought.
But before you show that doodle, let me just say that I don't know whether or not there were any clues in any of those scrapbooks. I won't rule it out. Forrest was having fun, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit if he didn't write some kind of a hint or a clue into some of those scrapbooks. But I certainly don't know about it, and I don't think that was an intent for him all along. I think all he was doing was sharing information and having fun by writing stories that he thought people would like to hear.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. I've got a lot of things pulling up here. Give me just 1 second. I want to make sure I've got everything. Okay, so let me know. I had to fix the audio again. Let me know if I start echoing.
Okay.
And okay, so first let's pull up the Douglas Preston one. And there we go. That one. There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is exactly what was on there. I had to crop it so that other people's comments weren't shown.
Yeah, it still seems to me like he's alluding to this particular article being fiction, because he's saying other articles, other authors of fiction beyond what's currently being presented. So kind of strange.
The others. So like instead of saying and authors of fiction,
right,
he says and other authors of fiction. Is that why?
That's
Yes.
why I questioned it. I mean, when you read it that way, I mean, it sounded like he was saying this is fiction.
Okay, I'm going back to the chat, everyone. And whoo, that's a lot of orange Amy Seeks.
K-Pro says other authors of fiction, exactly what we were just talking about. Wave Seeker, but he's calling it fiction. He said fiction. Okay. I do not see the information on the Authors Guild. There we go. There's the information there. Sorry, I'm a little late here. Ask Dale the question about toe-to-toe. Did? Okay. Douglas Preston comment was a troll. I looked at the account and that was the only post.
Yeah, that actually could be. I actually checked that and it looked like the account was established fairly recently. I mean, and I guess, I suppose there's also possible that, you know, maybe he has insider knowledge about the finder. Maybe the finder himself is also an author of fiction work. I don't know. Maybe
the finder is also a writer somehow. Somebody suggested maybe he's like a travel writer. But if it's a new account, you know, that leans towards it being potentially, because there were several other accounts and comments that said things like the finder and other people's names that weren't real people's names, that were famous people and stuff. So obviously you can put something fake together. So this one then is a 50-50. We don't know if it's Douglas or not.
We'll just have to wait for Cynthia to confirm for us.
Yeah. Let me call him here quick.
Yeah.
I can tell you something that Forrest told me about Doug. There was a while back. It wasn't too long ago. Probably after the chest was found, but obviously before Forrest died. Somebody accused. Doug said somewhere that he knew where the chest was. Does anybody remember where that was?
Oh.
And also Tankersley. Do you guys remember Tankersley, the guy that wrote the book with? I think he's an archaeologist at the University of Cincinnati.
Right.
And Tankersley said pretty much the same thing. And I asked Forrest about that. I said, Tankersley's been talking about this, and he said he knows where the treasure chest is. And Forrest got all huffy. He said, "Where did he say that?" Ken Tankersley, is that his name?
Yeah.
And he said, "Where did he say that?" And I showed him where Tankersley had written that.
What a cantankerous response.
Yeah. Yeah. And Forrest said to me, he doesn't know anything about where that chest is, and I'm going to talk to him. Okay. And then I said something about, well, oh, by the way, Doug's been mentioning that he knows where the chest is. And Forrest laughed and said, Doug has no idea where that chest is at. So I'm just going to say that. I mean,
mm-hmm. And I never really thought Douglas knew.
And speaking of Ken Tankersley, that was part of the conversation I had with Forrest also at his house the end of August. I mentioned to Forrest that there was drama in the chase world.
Drama llama.
Because Ken supposedly said somehow or somewhere to someone that he knew where Fenn hid the treasure, because one time they had been out excavating together, and Forrest said to Ken, "This is a place where I'd like to die," or something to like those words. And therefore Ken thinks or thought, supposedly, then that means, and it was in Wyoming. So supposedly then Ken believed that he knew where the treasure chest was located based on Forrest telling him that 30 years ago, that this is the place I want to die.
Oh, now, right.
When I told this to Forrest just basically said, there's no way in hell Ken knows where that chest is. So, and this is like the same kind of thing when Charmaine said to me at the signing for Gaspard that Forrest took her to a place and said, this is where I want to die. I was so new back then and such an idiot. I posted this online that people went nuts. They called poor old Charmaine at home saying, demanding, what did you tell Cynthia, and blah, blah, blah. And that created such a stink that Forrest made me clean up. And so I understand people thinking that if they were around Forrest, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and he said something like that, maybe at the time he meant it, but Forrest swore up and down, no one else ever knew where that chest was hidden.
Right. Now, quick, as there's someone in the chat saying, if you could refresh again who Ken is.
Ken Tankersley and Forrest traveled together in archaeological pursuit of a few things having to do with the Forrest Fen cache. And Ken and Forrest wrote a book together. Do you remember the title of that book, Cynthia?
Not offhand. I knew when when all this drama hit like a month or two ago, I knew then, but I don't remember.
Okay, I'll tell you what, you guys go ahead and fill the void. I'm going to go to the cabin and grab the book so I can show the title.
Oh, you've got the book.
In Search of Ice Age, isn't it? In Search of Ice Age.
Go. Excellent. That's it. Yeah.
Weren't there?
Grab the book though. Let's see it. That's cool.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
So anyone else who is unfamiliar with the, what was it called? The Fen cache, that was a cache of arrowheads. And you can actually just type in Fen cache and you'll see a beautiful picture of all these arrowheads that had been found. Wasn't one of them like clear quartz or something stunning?
Yeah, and they were points, right? So they're actually, I'm not a collector, so weren't
right,
they,
not a technical.
the points, not actual arrowheads. And I mean, it's so valuable.
Okay, and we have some more questions from chat. Don't forget my doodle. Chasing Indy, as soon as we get to doodles, we'll start the doodles flowing. And if you go into Facebook, under the Doodle Mania, a lot of people start posting their doodles. So you can see a lot of different doodles from Forrest. It was kind of cool. Minchar Perino, what is the one thing Dale and Cynthia think the general community didn't understand about Fen that they wish they would? Obviously, we'll have to wait for Dale, but Cynthia.
Well, for me, it was his sense of humor. And Dale just sort of touched on this now, too. I don't think anybody, if you didn't really get to know Forrest, you might, maybe from some of the interviews, you could get just a touch of it, but I don't think so much. But when you actually got to know him, he was really funny. And there were a couple times he actually told Sasha and me dirty jokes. And the first time I was sort of, I wasn't super new to being around him, but I never had seen that side of him before. And
do you remember the joke?
I was shocked. But it was pretty.
Yeah, what's the joke, Cynthia?
I actually don't remember the whole joke, but the punchline had to do with the guy playing pocket pool.
Was he from Nantucket?
Okay. I may have misspoken.
Upside down.
Dale, but we still get the idea.
I may have misspoken. So Forrest's name is not on this, but when I read the book, I think I thought that because so much of the book takes place with Forrest traveling with him.
Wow. Where'd you get the book?
Places. It's a used book, so I probably got it on eBay.
That's a nice one. I'll have to take a look at it.
It is a fun book, and he talks quite a bit. He and Forrest were traveling around in Wyoming, I think, looking for a site of red ochre that many of his Clovis points were coated in.
Red ochre, right.
He did at least 2 or 3 scrapbooks, Forrest did, on this guy and the red ochre. I think there might have been 3 scrapbooks that had to do with the Ken guy that Forrest talked about.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now let's get back to Doug Preston. Let's really start the conspiracy.
Oh, and by the way, Doug Preston.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, he did the forward, right?
Yeah. He did the forward on this.
Look at that. Forward by Douglas Preston.
Yes. So there we go.
Doodles.
Conspiracy.
I have to answer a quick question in chat. Because I can, says Amy Seeks, were you ever in scrapbooks? In a scrapbooks? I'm guessing if you're asking if any of them were about me, I did ask Forrest that once. And he said, I forget what it was. It was something like, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. Or it was, his response was something like that. So I don't know. He left me wondering. Let's see if there's any other Do the panel agree the Lamar Valley, this is from Minotaur Merino, the Lamar Valley, Ojo Caliente, to down the Madison River in Wyoming, the Sunlight Basin, Chief Justice Highway are the 3 most likely hidey spots, right?
Yeah.
I think some of those are.
And speaking of that, is Alan going to be on the show?
Yeah.
So I sent him the Zoom invite, but I don't know, he's got family and all that stuff going on too. So who knows? Who knows? I'll hopefully, and if I see him in chat, I'll let you know. Chasing Indy says, can you ask Dale if Fenn ever mentioned at the doctor to him? Fenn mentioned it to myself and others.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, Chasing Indy, elaborate on that. I know I'm behind on questions. I'll try and keep up while still letting you guys talk.
Wasn't that Fenn's doctor at some point, or his friend that was a doctor that had come up to, I think, Wyoming or Montana to search? Does that sound familiar?
Is that her question? Candy's questions about Trump's doctor that searched?
That's right. That's the one. Yeah.
Well, she needs to specify.
Okay, specify. Michael Stephen says, could you thank Dale for the Finding Carl story? That was awesome.
Oh, it was.
Please ask Cynthia this question because only she can answer. Dum, dum, dum. Will we ever hear from any of the Fenn family, even if it's just Shiloh? She can't.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's. Oh, MEH. Michael Hool is in the room.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, Japan. Ohayo gozaimasu. Domo arigato. Oh, wait, what is it where he is? Is it konbawa, konnichiwa, or is it ohayo gozaimasu? Let us know. Anyway, he says, question for Dale. If it hasn't been answered already, how did you hear of the Finder's article? Were you contacted directly?
No, somebody sent me a link to the article, and I went there and looked, and no, I take that back. Well, how did I find it? Cynthia, did you tell me about it this morning?
Yes, I called you immediately.
Yeah, and I didn't know about it before then, did I?
No.
No, so it was Cynthia. Okay.
You forgot that Cynthia. How can you forget a call from Cynthia? I mean, come on.
You're talking to a pretty old guy here. Okay.
I make that joke because I've been making mistakes all day because of so many things going on. And like, when I went live before, it was because everyone was just like, go live now.
So the real question you should be asking, Michael, is how did Cynthia know? Cynthia?
I have people that call me.
God, I love you.
You have people. You have people. Good.
I have people.
That is an excellent question.
Cynthia is always my source of information. I don't know why you're asking me this. Cynthia knew that Forrest had died and was the person to call me and tell me. I didn't know about it until she called me, and I didn't know about this article until
putting Cynthia in the hot seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting uncomfortable.
I will not give up my sources.
Okay, so K-Pro has a question, but I don't understand exactly what it means. She says, Forrest gave him rights to the academic authorship and F got his side of the cut. Winky face. I don't know what that means.
What?
I'll read it again. Forrest gave him rights to the academic authorship and F got his side of the cut. Winky face. I think it's something playful, but okay, specify, K-Bro. I'm sorry, I did not convey that right. I don't know what it means.
You may be responding to something we were talking about, maybe the Tankersley book.
Like before or something, yeah, right? I know. I'm trying to catch up.
She might be talking about Ken Tankersley and the fact that his name is on the book and not Forrest's.
Okay, all right. And you can specify, K-Bro. And like I say, I know I'm behind, but I
actually have a story from Forrest about the Tankersley in that book. So Dale,
just froze up, Cynthia.
That book, that is for sure.
I guess somebody doesn't want you to tell us that story.
Oh no, it must be you, Dale. We can see her.
Oh, I froze up. Darn. Somebody doesn't want me to know about that story.
No, so
Cut Dale off.
So Dale, the book you just showed, Forrest was part of that hunt, right? He's just not credited as being an author. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So Forrest was telling me, since I brought up Ken anyway, we had a really good visit that day. He was telling me that the way he got the Fen cash was, oh hell, this was, I don't know who it was now. Anyway, so he's out in the boonies with some old man and his kid, and the boy, like a 15 or 16-year-old boy. They were working on some real old beat up pickup truck. The kid was having a hard time getting it running, blah, 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 blah. And Forrest said to them, how would you like to have a brand new pickup truck for the Fen cash or something like that? Because I don't know if I'm even allowed to be telling this, but I don't think there's anything wrong. Maybe I shouldn't go there, but what could happen now, huh?
I heard a different story about that.
Did you hear something about that though?
I have heard that, but I didn't think that was the Fen cash.
He acquired something that was worth so much money.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah. And all he had to do was buy the father and the son a brand new truck, and he got a collection that was valued way, way more than that truck ever would have cost.
That's Forrest. I mean, that's the schmoozer.
Oh, he
and what did you hear, Dale?
He knew how to deal to get what he wanted.
Right, working it.
Yeah.
And what did you hear, Dale, that was different?
I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to say.
I don't even remember if mine is about the Fen cash, but I thought it was. But I thought he wrote this story.
Oh.
Well, he might have. It might be in one of the scrapbooks.
Yeah, it might be.
There's so many now.
Where there were a couple of guys that were at they showed up at another gallery, I think, with this collection of Clovis points that were crudely mounted on a piece of plywood.
That's the one I heard.
Okay. Yeah. And he had them come over to his gallery. He bought them. I can't remember. It was a pretty substantial amount of money. I mean, he gave him quite a bit of money for it. I'm going to say $100,000, but I don't know that that's the actual figure. And acquired it that way. And later on, he went and visited them, and they showed him where their father had it tacked up on the wall. Their father had found it. They didn't know where. It had been in the family house for as long as they could remember.
I think that is one of the actual stories, because I've heard that and I probably read it or something. Yeah. But I mean, then what is Cynthia's? I mean,
well, there were a couple of Fen caches, actually. I mean, there's one that's called the Fen cache, but there was another one that was found down on off of the Snake River, south of Yellowstone Lake, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what that's called. Oh. I wish I knew, because for a long time I believed that may have been the place where he hid the chest.
Oh. Wow.
Obviously, I don't think.
But I mean, conjecture, but still.
Yeah. I was trying to.
Quick little thing from Alan K. Cynthia. Alan K. says, "I'm coming on soon. I got 3/4 kids down." Chasing Indy says, Amy Seeks asked Justin if Fen talked to him about Trump's doctor searching for the treasure and what he said to Justin.
Oh, sorry, my internet cut out there. I think I heard my name though. What was that?
Okay, I have no idea what this is about. Is this a question that shouldn't be asked? I don't know.
What was the question?
Oh, you're serious? I thought you were being funny.
Yeah, no, it actually did cut out. Uncanny timing.
That's pretty funny. Okay, so basically she was asking if you, okay, wait, no, let me read this so I get it right. Asked Justin if Fen talked to him about Trump's doctor searching for the treasure and what he said to Justin.
He didn't mention Trump's doctor to me, but I did read about it. That's how I knew from earlier.
There you go. Oh, shoot. So when I was talking to Michael Hool in Japan, he said it's, but then it's all in kanji. It's in, it's not in English. So I have no idea what it is because I don't know kanji. If I even have kanji right, that is the word for the script, right? I don't know if that's konbawa, konnichiwa, or ohayo gozaimasu. So I'll say them all three again. Nomadic Madman. Who is Cynthia? Cynthia is the lovely lady who is right below me. There you go. 3D bronze.
Hey.
Forrest?
That cracked me up. Okay, never mind. I'm going past that.
You might want to change the phrasing, Amy. I mean,
okay, I'll start talking about my awesome little chest that I like to play with.
It is
that's just as bad.
I can't hide.
I thought you weren't going to tell our secrets.
Cynthia, you were going to talk about some
look at Amy, she's done. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dale.
You were going to talk about some stick figures, weren't you?
Amy's dying. Well, Amy has my doodles, so
Cynthia showed me her doodles.
He's got,
as long as we're not talking about
the one that shows them.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is why I need anti-blushing powder. Okay. Oh wait, here I'm just gonna
Yeah, have another drink.
Oh my gosh, what is it with all you people? When I'm around you guys, it's just so funny. Okay, where were we? So there's more questions from the chat. Shall I keep going? Or did you guys have more stuff you want to talk about?
Keep going.
Lost.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask the questions from the chat so we don't get so far behind.
Okay. I know. I mean, if I scroll down, holy crap. I'm trying my best, people, though, but at the same time, letting everyone talk who has information. Forrest once said that there was several things he sent to Dale that Dale decided not to post. Can you tell us some of those things? And any reason why you weren't interested in posting? No accusations intended, just curious.
Forrest said a lot of things, and a lot of them about me had to do with getting me in trouble. He liked to do that. Forrest generation and my generation as well, you don't know somebody likes you until they start giving you a hard time. And Forrest did that with me oftentimes. And that was one of those situations. Trust me, if Forrest sent me something and wanted it posted, what kind of a fool would I be not to post it? There was nothing Forrest sent that I didn't post. Sometimes he and I would discuss a piece and he would decide not to post it. But it wasn't me who made that decision. It was him. And sometimes he would write a piece. I mean, oftentimes he would write a piece and he would ask me to edit it. And I might find something in there that I would say needed clarification, or I didn't quite know what it meant. And I'd suggest that he rewrite it, and he would. But no, he did not send me a bunch of stuff that I refused to
super secret
publish.
hints.
Yeah, no, nothing
the
there.
keyword phrase is super secret hints.
Yeah, I mean, come on, folks. I didn't find the chest, and if he'd have given me any information that I could have used to find it, I'd have it by now. But no.
I know. Where's the solution there? Yeah, that is the number one evidence for anyone who is frustrated by someone having information before they did. They don't have the chest.
Hey, Justin, you went dark. Oh, I see. You're walking around with your.
Oh, yeah. I was actually just starting the grill.
I thought maybe you were like under the bed hiding.
What are you?
It's not really dark.
Yeah. What are you having? What are you grilling?
Dark.
Oh, I am grilling filet.
Oh, something you caught?
Yeah, trout fillets. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great.
Rainbow trout?
Brook trout, actually.
Ooh, bigger.
Brook trout, probably about the tastiest trout there are, just in my opinion.
Oh, how are you cooking them? I'm sorry, I'm a foodie.
No, I just start at the grill and do some foil and a little bit of butter and cilantro, a little seasoning inside. It's pretty good, pretty basic.
Maybe a lemon.
Oh yes, gotta have the lemon.
Did you catch those today?
Yeah.
No, it's fresh.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's
You're
no other
killing
way to
me.
eat trout. That's
I haven't had fresh fish like that for so long now. Last time was up in Alaska, and
Oh my
they were
goodness.
they had actually, it wasn't actually that good because they had swum upstream for so long
Oh,
that the meat was, meh. But I
Yeah.
caught the sucker on my own, so it tasted delicious.
Hmm.
Okay, so more
Hey
questions.
guys, we need a fun get together up here. We can have
Yeah.
trout all day long.
Oh, I've never gone fly fishing, so
First time for everything.
first time to screw up something. That's right, baby.
It can't be that hard. Remember, Forrest did it.
Oh man.
He's not here to defend himself. So
He's rolling over in his grave. That's just
I
wrong.
just have this vision of me wrapped in all of the all of the wire wrapped around me. Okay, all right. Some more questions for the chat. Minotaur Moreno says, has Dale Cynthia heard the story about Justin Posey turning in the hundreds of thousands of dollar diamond? What a good dude. I just want to say, haven't ever met y'all, but but all three of you seem like good peeps.
well, thank
Show
you.
us the picture real
That's
quick.
very kind. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And by the way, thank you very much for all those diamonds, Justin.
Well, you
That
are
was
in Washington State. It makes sense.
Diggin Gypsy says, tell Candy I'll. No, sorry. Tell Candy I have. Sorry, she must have accidentally pressed send.
Oh.
Tell Candy I have email from Forrest saying it was not Trump's doctor who found it. There we go. You're welcome, Chasing Indy from Gypsy.
From
Okay.
Diggin' Gypsy.
I had already called Trump's doctor's dad to find out if he found it. And then when he said no, I said, well, did your son find it? And he said no.
There you go. And we know that the guy who found it was a millennial. So,
Yeah.
Minotaur Moreno says that Justin Posey reminds me of MEH and his mind interests me. What was his Where Warm Waters halt in the Sunlight Basin, and why was he so sure it was there?
Yeah, pretty feeble thinking here. I just yeah. So Sunlight Basin was. I thought, well, sunlight warms the water, and this has to be something that you can identify on a map. So Sunlight Creek would make sense, and it's something that you can dip your toe in. And it halts where it ends, or additionally, the other interpretation would be it halts where it dies. There's actually a quote from Forrest years ago that he actually used the word halt in the quote. I could pull it up if you're curious, but right there at the end of Sunlight Creek was Dead Indian Hill, or was it Dead Indian Pass? I don't recall which. And so, like the concept of the creek dying at Dead Indian Hill or Dead Indian Pass right there at the end of the creek as it flows into the Clark Fork was compelling, at least at the time. Yeah.
Right. Now I am getting stuff from the chat. I think they're ready to move on. Huli says hush diamonds. So there's a few comments. Oh yeah, and then I think MEH said it was konnichiwa. So there we go. Finally got it right. I think they're ready to see your new doodles, Cynthia. And then I think Chasing Indy also had some doodles. So shall we show the first? Which doodle do you want to share first?
Well, let's do the one from December, the Artie book, because that explains the last one better.
Okay. Let's see if I can get this.
When you show it, then I can talk about it.
Okay. Did it work? Can you guys
Yes.
see it? Excellent. Okay. My computer seems to be running a little bit slow, so if it lags, I apologize. So there you go, Cynthia.
Thanks. So what I wanted to show here is, one more thing, Amy. The scrapbook that I was alluding to before, where he said about with my newfound freedom, I might even get a new piercing. What What was the date on that, please?
October 2019, scrapbook 211.
Okay, so in October of 2019, Forrest did the scrapbook where I thought that line meant the Nez Perce Trail. I mean, if you go across Idaho, I forget where it starts. I think it's Idaho, Montana, it goes all the way across Yellowstone National Park, and then their Trail to Freedom continues on out through the northeast entrance of Yellowstone National Park and across the Chief Joseph Scenic Highway. And Sunlight Basin, by the way, is just off of that. But anyway, so that was in October when that scrapbook came out. This is the book that when I went to interview Forrest, and I think it was December of 2019, this was the doodle he made for me in the book that he gave me. And what I liked so much about it was that the top drawing where I'm jumping over a wide, which is actually a creek, to the chest.
And let him know why you think it's a creek.
He knew I was searching Sunlight Creek. He told me that the lower line through there was water, that basically I'm jumping over a creek. So what was so interesting about this, and I took this home and I just analyzed the hell out of it. He drew a Indian. So under the word educating, you can see another stick there where Amy's circling it. And that is an Indian. There's a feather on his head. His eyes are looking down at his feet, and he is running. And that line he's running on is the same squiggly line that's like meaning water. So when I looked at this, I'm thinking, what the hell is he saying here? If anything, yeah, I mean, you never know. Is he actually ever saying anything that's real, or is he just pulling your leg and having fun? So I always like to use confirmation bias for my stuff. So like everybody else, I use confirmation bias too. And that Indian is running the opposite direction from where he had me jumping across the creek to the treasure. So to me, this meant right here, oh my God, based on that scrapbook that was a couple months before, and he said about with my newfound freedom, I might even get a new piercing. To me, this is a Nez Perce. She's basically directing me probably into or back closer to Yellowstone National Park, because the Nez Perce, I mean, there's Nez Perce Creek, there's Nez Perce Ford, and then you have all the various trails that they used when they were inside the park. So it's like, oh my God, I need to go back to Yellowstone and search. So this was at the very end of 2019.
End of 2019. Yeah, I think I remember when it was such a big deal when this book was produced, and how in such a limited fashion it was produced. We are all just fascinated.
So now if you bring up the next doodle.
Okay. Which one?
The one from July. It's basically the only one I sent you. You enhanced it.
Oh, yes. Yes. Here we go. Can you all see?
So,
yeah.
So the gist of this was, after Forrest, he the day he announced it was in Wyoming, he also sent me an email that it was in Wyoming. And then he asked me when I could come by his place and get this book that he had told me he would give me. And I said, like, tomorrow. I was in Jackson Hole at the time, and it's like, I can be there. I'll drive all day tomorrow and I'll get there Saturday. And in the same email, he said to me, what do you want in your book? And I said, I want you to sign it. I want you to date it. And I want you to draw a doodle with a hint whether or not I was ever close to the treasure chest. So I go to Fork home.
I know, right?
I go to Fenn's home. He gives me the book. I open it. I look at it quickly, and it's like, oh, he did what I asked. I didn't see anything obvious in the doodle. So I took it back to my room. And when I really looked at it, Amy, go to the blown up section.
All right. So I want you guys to focus. This is where we're going to blow up this little section right in her back pocket. Okay. Give me a second. Pull that up. Hello, Alan.
Oh, Alan's here just in time.
There it is. That's the
So-
blood section. Look at that.
What is that?
So the hint that Forrest gave me was the treasure chest was in my back pocket. So
this is the same color, same marker that the treasure chest was in that other image.
right. So I mean, I just analyzed this to death. I actually sent this picture to a couple other search friends and said, what the hell does this mean? I mean, it was just driving me crazy. If you have something in your back pocket, that is a phrase that can be used for that has various different meanings. So a few of my friends and we analyzed all that. And it's like, no one really, I mean, none of us, we're all just guessing what did Forrest mean when he drew that there. So there again, me wanting to use confirmation bias, I thought, okay, he's telling me that I was close. I had it or was close to it in 2018. And that's when I searched in Yellowstone National Park. The whole year of 2018, all my searches were within Yellowstone. And then in 2019, all my searches were in the Sunlight Basin area. So what I really, really wanted Alan. I wanted Alan's analysis and input on the information I provided tonight with the Nez Perce Trail and Yellowstone. And I wanted to ask Alan whether or not he actually had the Nez Perce Trail, Crossing Creek, any of those things in his solves.
To be flat out honest, never Nez Perce. I mean, I'm familiar with that solve, and I know K-Pro was huge on that solve. I am a strictly Northeast Yellowstone searcher. So my question back to you, Cynthia, is did you ever go through the Northeast corner of Yellowstone in 2018? And maybe
I did. I use that way to get to Cody often, and or not often, but I actually even in when I was just in Cody lately, I almost always have a day or two that I leave Cody and go into the park. I mean, if I'm going to be that close to Yellowstone, I don't not go into Yellowstone. I love it so much there. So I used I went through Cook City and Silvergate many times since 2017. I've traveled.
And if you're going to use the analogy as if he's implying something in your back pocket, doesn't like a hidden corner of Yellowstone maybe relate more to it than something that's right in front of your face? Like if you're searching Nez Perce and he's telling you it's in your back pocket, I would assume it's in a hidden corner of where you're actually looking down. That's, I've just walked in here, so sorry. But that's my immediate thought on the back pocket analogy there.
Yeah, no, I like it. That's why I wanted to talk to you.
It almost looks like you're carrying a yellow stone, right? Like
yeah.
A literal yellow stone. Right?
But the chest.
Back to the larger one.
I think it's the same exact color as the chest that he had me jumping over to. So he used the same marker to draw the big chest that I'm jumping across the creek to, as it's the same color as what he put in my back pocket. But yeah, no, I love Alan, what you just said,
And another, I forget who it was, a searcher visited Forrest Eclectic Works. I don't know if his name was Chris, but either way, he had Forrest sign his Osborne Russell book for him and his wife. And in both the books, he had them jumping over a canyon or something. And as we all know, well, I know.
Oh, he's breaking up a little bit.
Canyons. Shit. I'm going to switch to headphones.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to insert something before it disappears from the chat because, when so many people chat, it eventually disappears. Michael Hool for Cynthia, this is kind of funny. He says, I finally figured out what my educating arty doodle means. It means running towards a cliff. Disaster. You're searching in the wrong state. That was from Michael Hool.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to get to something that you can't get to, but you already have it, right? I mean, it's just not clear to me in this doodle whether or not like you're actually able to get across this precipice, or if you weren't meant to. I don't know.
That's a good point, and I agree with you. I think it looks like she had it, but she doesn't know she has it, and she's searching, and she sees something else that she thinks is the chest, and she's going for it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
that was my analysis too. I had it before and I left it, and I left that spot, and now I'm headed over. Yeah, that looks like a steep crevice or.
So what spot did you give up?
Please tell me it's not Sunlight Basin.
No, I was searching Sunlight Basin. This is
good.
when I was pretty sure that Sunlight Basin was wrong.
Oh no.
So what area would have been right?
Oh, I don't know the exact area. I just think that along with that scrapbook, the arty doodle, and then this, however you want to interpret this, I think it puts it in Yellowstone is all. But then but I do love the line in the scrapbook about with my newfound freedom, I might even get a new piercing. I just like that, meaning something related to the Nez Perce. And the trail goes through the Lamar Valley. And actually there's a couple of different spurs of it. And one of the other things where the Nez Perce actually camped was Indian Pond right there close to Fishing Bridge. And in 2018, oh my God, that was one of my favorite search areas. I mean, I searched that area to death.
So
What's
we
your
know
canyon?
it's not there.
I had nothing good except my WWH Indian Pond. If you ever read the plaque that's there describing how it was created, it was like, oh my God, this definitely could be the Warm Waters Holding. But that's the problem. There is no canyon adjacent or contiguous to Indian Pond. So it's like, yeah, it's
hard to make it fit.
So I moved on because it's like, nah, it can't be this.
There's a great comment from 3D Bronze real quick. And Susie Fenhaven, this to Cynthia, did she carefully comb through the rest of that book looking for any other markers?
No.
And then Susie Fenhaven says, ask Cynthia if she ever made a fake blaze somewhere.
No. That's a no to both of those. I didn't. So this book, the book that has that final, the thing with the treasure in my hip pocket, that was a first edition, first printing book. It is like so pristine. I don't even want to look through it. And
like you got like with gloves.
I don't want to damage any of the pages. I want it to look brand new. So, and I have several TTOTCs. So maybe I should.
I mean,
maybe I should go look through the rest of the book.
Put some cotton gloves on and
yeah.
Minotaur Moreno says, when Wyoming was first given as the state, I was confident Yellowstone was it. With all the forest talk about bifenn, with all the forest talk about bifenn, sorry, I've been drinking, and now the finder, it makes me think Shoshone National Forest. Panel's thoughts?
Well, yeah, Justin and I were in the Shoshone National Forest. I mean, that was all of 2019. I just loved that area.
And a lot of hours searching. Yeah.
How many hours?
Yes.
Many, many, many. Here's some more. K-Pro says, maybe Cynthia will get one part of the treasure chest contents, both being orange from Forest, ? The bracelet, ? And Michael Houle says, by that token, Cynthia is the correct state, but the wrong spot.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I just thought of, Shoshone. One place I was looking along the Shoshone River was actually between Yellowstone and Cody. There's a place called Pawhuska. And Pawhuska, yeah.
Oh, I love it. You bet.
Yeah, and that was actually kind of Bill Cody's home, if you will. And I recall a scrapbook where Forrest was talking about flowing long hair of his daughter or something like that. And a couple different times he had made mention to flowing hair. And as I recall, Pawhuska meant something to that effect in Native American speak. And so, I also thought it could be the home of Brown, capital B, Buffalo Bill Cody, the Buffalo's Brown, something to that effect. So I spent a lot of time searching in the Pawhuska area. It just reminded me when you said Shoshone, but probably nothing.
We don't know.
I also searched almost every side canyon and creek off the Buffalo Bill Scenic Highway between Cody and the east entrance too.
Oh yeah.
And that's where the big sow and her yearlings were right there by the road eating berries. Cool. And the day before, I actually had parked at a, like the Newton picnic area. I was going to go up to Newton Hot Springs. And when I parked in the parking area that morning, there were 2 rangers there, and they asked me if I had bear spray, because they said that the sow and her yearlings had been sighted in that area. And I did. Plus I had my Glock, but I didn't tell them. And then the problem was there was really no trail. And I was just starting to walk up through like the thickets and the berry bushes along this creek to get to the hot springs. And I decided it wasn't worth being mauled to death. I mean, it's like, okay, this is really being stupid now to do this. So I turned around, went back to my car, and it's like, oh, I'm going to just cross that one off my list. And the next morning, I went to Pahosca Teepee to the restaurant there to eat, and the sow and her 2 yearlings were right along the road eating berries, and they were so big. I could not believe how big they were.
Were they like rotund? Just
the mom was. The yearlings, so what? They would have been what, 8, 7 months old. This was in like October. And they already had to be a couple 100 pounds. I mean, and the one was right at the asphalt. I mean, I have a picture where you can actually see the car antenna between the yearling and me standing there. That's how close we were.
What
so
year was
like,
that?
Oh
Cynthia?
my God. I don't ever want to meet them in a thicket of berries going up some canyon by myself.
Oh, could you imagine? And I'm going to share this because these are from Chasing Indy. These are her doodles. And I thought you guys might, Chasing Indy. So I don't know if she's still in the room. I know she was like, she was waiting. It was like, you could share my doodles too. So these are the ones she sent.
So I believe that Forrest customized the doodles to the person. So if he had any idea where you were searching, or something about your solve or your method of searching or whatever, I think he somehow put that into the doodle that he drew for you.
Why are all of these, look at the different, this is a darker purple, these are the reds, and then we have the blonde. That seems odd. We have one digging. Look, here's a shovel.
So each of those figures are Candy, correct? Well, the ones
I don't know.
So
the
ones
one with the blonde hair is you.
I have no
Candy
idea.
changes her hair color. Candy wears wigs, right? And that's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Yeah, she has fun with hair. She's very creative.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're still in the room, Candy. I'm sorry it took me so long to get here. Obviously, there's just been so much information, but I thought now was the appropriate time to go ahead and say. But yeah, so that is one that Chasing Indy sent me and said to share.
And I just sent you a couple, Amy, over Facebook Messenger, but that canyon picture is what I was trying to say before I cut out. I have seen that drawn in so many different searchers' doodles that it seems very important. It's almost like whatever canyon it was found in, it was on the other side. And I'm not saying whose canyon is right or wrong, but that seems like a recurring theme. So that's why, Cynthia, I was asking you which canyon you were looking in, which you got, 45% away across. And maybe fell or maybe not, I'm not sure. But and then Candy's got a canyon. I just sent you a picture, Amy, where he says, I love Osborne Russell, and it's the same canyon, but with fish in the bottom.
Okay. All right. Give me a second to log into Facebook, download the image, and I'll be doing that while you guys discuss. Oh, Chasing Indy says the blonde is Marty and the red is me. I'll pull that one back up so you can discuss that while I pull up the other doodles. There you go. So the blonde is Marty and the red is me. So there you go.
So does that mean Candy used a shovel to try to find it then?
Right?
Get Candy to respond. Did you take a shovel with you to dig?
A la Stephanie.
And if anyone, so it's going to take me a bit to get into Facebook, download the thingies. Facebook is slow for me for some reason. Here we go. There we go. Messages. There we go. Sent photo. And there, I'll stop so you guys can keep talking. There you go. Oh, these are fun. Okay. Sorry. They're just fun. Okay. Fun. It's not letting me save the image. Let me save the image. I might have to take a screenshot here.
Hey, Cynthia, you're nothing but a head right now. I mean, you're like a float. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Sorry.
She's pulling a hoolie from earlier. She's doing the Kilroy. Tee. Hey, Alan, can you send those to my email?
Yep, I'll do that right now.
Okay. amyseeksadventure@gmail.com. Facebook isn't letting me do anything except forward them to another person on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
I am Facebook illiterate, people. Oh, and a quick shout out to anyone who has tried to friend me on Facebook. I didn't know that then your feed gets flooded with that. And I was only on Facebook so that I could see treasure hunting stuff. So it's not that I don't like you. It's just that if I friend you, then I've got you in my feed and then I'm trying to filter through that. So I like you very much. And thank you very much for wanting to friend me. And the only reason I'm not is because I'm on Facebook for a utilitarian reason. So there you go. Okay, going into emails. Let's see here.
I have a question for Alan when he gets done doing his email.
Fire away.
Are you willing to talk about your search areas, or do you still want to keep them secret?
I submitted my entire lunatic crazy solve on YouTube already, so I'm checked out. But yes.
Well, can I just ask you briefly? I know that you were Lamar Valley, or I mean, I don't know if you were Soda Butte Creek. Can you be specific where you searched boots on the ground?
Specifically, my 4 years of focus was Lamar Valley, and I was locked into Amethyst Creek. I thought it was an allusion to like the Great Bed, and it's a tiny little creek that flows into the Lamar Valley. So I spent 3 years there, and then next to that is Jasper Creek, and I looked there, and Jasper Bench. And so I thought Father Banco was an allusion to something on one of those benches. So I spent many years looking in Lamar Valley, Amethyst Creek, Jasper Bench, Amethyst Bench. But more recently, I just tried to simplify, which sounds dumb, but I just moved into the Lamar Canyon. And that is where my real solve came into play. And that happened in May, but I never made it out there.
Oh my God, because that's where it was. I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Cynthia. You found it. You're just not willing to. You're just not willing to admit it in front of everybody. We know. I have absolute proof that you found it, Cynthia.
I know you do, and that's why I moved to a guard-gated community, because I knew eventually you'd let me out. So
a quick
everybody, we are joking. Dale, tell people you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Not kidding. Cynthia has it. I've seen it.
Yeah, Amy,
you might have seen my chest, but it wasn't fins.
But it was very sparkly.
Amy, can you give me a share option, and I'll show everybody the picture that I have.
Oh, is it not on there? You should be able to share.
I think only you can share right now. Okay. Oh, you're right. Here it says share screen. Okay.
And a quick shout out to Carrie Finley. She sent me a doodle via email. Let me know for sure in the chat if I can share it.
That's good.
So that's Cynthia celebrating her find.
Oh
I mean,
God.
Yeah, that's it. So, and by the way, let me see. Yeah, that's me after she told me.
Wait. Oh!
And that's Cynthia taking care of the competition right there.
Oh my God, this is great.
Anyway, that's all I have.
Oh my gosh, Dale, they were so good.
When did you do those?
I didn't draw those. I stole those.
Oh my God.
Oh, they were good.
I've got so many doodles coming in. Okay, Alan, I got your doodles. I'm going to go ahead and save those and then forward them to my email, my other email, so that I can share them. So give me just a minute. And
no problem. Dale, I have a question you don't need to answer, but something that I've always questioned is when Forrest said when he first met you, you showed up or you introduced yourself with a fictitious alias for some reason. Yep. What was that alias and why? And I'm sorry if you've already shared this.
Oh, I have, but
it's a fun story.
Mike from Michigan. And I did that because I had been corresponding with Forrest for several years prior to that, but he didn't know it. I was corresponding for his nephew Creighton, and so I was doing that because Creighton has a dyslexic issue and doesn't read or write very well. So I was kind of acting as Creighton's secretary. And so I was corresponding with Forrest. We were corresponding about what to do with all this salvage stuff we weren't finding. and Forrest had mentioned that he would help us get rid of some of this stuff and turn it into money. And so I knew Forrest, and I also knew that Creighton had mentioned my name to Forrest. I have a pretty unique name, and I felt that if I told him I was Dale Neitzel, that he would A, recognize my name, and B, he would think that I was using Creighton as a source of information. And so I didn't want him to think that I was using someone in his family. I wasn't, as a source of information. So I thought it was just much easier if I just pretended to be somebody else. And I never thought I would get caught at it. And so I introduced myself when I started writing him as Mike from Michigan. And I kept that up right up until we did that. Gotti and I did that story. Maybe it was, I don't remember, 6 months later or something. Forrest called me up, and Forrest didn't call me up. He wrote me when I was still Mike from Michigan. And he said that there was a guy in Albuquerque who wanted to do a story on the treasure hunt.
Just real quick, is Dale's audio low for everyone else?
It's low, but I could hear it.
Okay, all right.
And so I could would I be the searcher in Gotti's story? And I said sure. So he said, okay, come on out here and set it up with Gotti. So we did. And all the way out there, I was thinking about how in the hell am I going to do this now? You know, I mean, Forrest thinks I'm Mike from Michigan. Gotti thinks I'm Mike from Michigan. What am I going to do? Am I going to appear on television as Mike from Michigan, or what am I going to do? And so I hadn't made my mind up. I met Gotti on the Red River, right in Red River, just outside of it, where I was going to search. And I pulled up behind him and I decided, okay, I'm going to tell him the truth. And Gotti was unloading his camera from his back of his car, and he turned around and looked at me. I had pulled up behind him. He turned around and looked at my van, and I saw him glance down at my license plate. And my license plate's from Washington State. And I saw his eyes go, you know, he's trying to figure this out, you know, okay, well, this guy's from Michigan, right? What's this guy doing with what? And so I got out of the car, I shook his hand, I said, Gotti, we need to go talk. I've got something I have to tell you. And he said, okay. So we went into town, got a cup of coffee, and I told him the story and why I had done it. And Gotti thought that was great. He wanted that story, that side of the story, for his story. I thought, oh, geez. I said, okay, but here's the deal. You can't run this story until I've had a chance to talk to Forrest, because I don't want him to find out that I lied to him from your story. I want a chance to tell him face to face. And Gotti agreed, so they postponed running that story for a day or two. And I got hold of Forrest and told him. We met at Collected Works and sat down and introduced myself as Mike from Michigan. I said, Forrest, there's something I have to tell you. And this was at that time when Forrest was under BLM investigation. So those words did not sound good to him. And he looked at me pretty bad. And I told him the story. And he looked at me, a big smile came across his face. He said, you don't have to worry about Creighton. You can ask anything. Creighton doesn't know where the chest is. You and Creighton should go searching for it together. And that was it. And after that, Forrest and I were best of friends.
That's a cool story.
That's awesome. Thank you for that.
Love that story. All right, I'm going to try and catch up with chat now that I've got your doodles at the ready, Alan. I also have a really fun image from Dave Calvi that we'll all have a good laugh about. Okay, so 3D Bronze says to tell Cynthia to send me that book with the doodle in it, and he'll be very careful with it. Chasing Indy says, oh, wait, we went over that. The blonde is Marty. Jack, I love you. So if you don't love back, cheers anyway. What? I need to review these before I read them aloud.
I think he's talking to me. Cheers, Jack.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Yep. red, purple, turn it purple. Okay, Chasing Indy. Cynthia had Matt retrieve it and got a piece of the pie. Ha 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 ha.
Who said that?
That was Chasing Indy. She's being funny. Because I can. More than 3. I should like read these before I read them out loud, but there's not enough time. We have too many. More than 300 miles west of Toledo, Ohio, is where Buffalo Bill was born. It's roughly 350 to 350 miles. Minotaur Merino. I'm putting my money in the dense pines on Purple Mountain of Yellowstone. Yellowstone, Purple Mountain, brown equals brown, home of brown. Chasing Indy says, didn't Gotti search the Firehole area?
Yes, he did. Many times. And he also went up the red, what's it called?
Canyon.
Red Creek Canyon? Or
Red
He also
Canyon.
went up there.
The place where Forrest and Donnie went, right?
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Wrong Way Corrigan. Yes, of course, I believe there are 2. I don't know what that's about. I'm sorry. All right, should we share Alan's doodles? Share screen. Okay, let's just
only
start
one of
with...
those is technically mine, just to flag that. But yes, I'm sure.
Oh, which one would you like to share first? The one with the big canyon, the one chasing the treasure chest, or the one with the fish?
The canyon and the fish one, I think.
Okay, we'll do canyon first.
Yep. And they're kind of the same, but this one's important. This was, again, I can't remember the guy's name that sent this to me, but he met Forrest at Collected Works, and Forrest signed his Osborne Russell book. And the guy that sent me this didn't even he didn't know about Osborne Russell's infatuation with anything. Anyways, it's very interesting though. But again, it's that same canyon theme that Candy just showed and that Cynthia just showed, and I've seen several other times. And the arms always like pointing down. Like there's a lot of implications that you have to cross a canyon and get to another side of something. And again, he's right. I love Osborne Russell. I don't think I've ever seen that in any doodle, period. But that's pretty awesome. Not that we don't know he loves Osborne Russell, but.
All right. And which one would you like me to share next?
But that book is Osborne Russell's The Journal of a Trapper, right?
Yeah.
That's
I think so.
I
think he signed.
That's Journal of a Trapper.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Which one next? The fish in the water or the chasing
fish.
the treasure? Okay.
The fish, sure. And it's the same guy. Might even be the same book. But again, it's kind of like that same. I don't know why he drew that like that, but it's just strange to me. There's always something in between, and that's a weird fish. I know Forrest can draw better than that. I know he can.
That's a weird fish. I wouldn't want to eat that fish. All right.
But same guy on the same trip.
Okay.
So Forrest did these doodles though while they were all sitting there at the bookstore, right? So Forrest didn't have a lot of time when he did those. He had to be quick. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
And then this is the one that he drew for me in Too Far to Walk after I won the Name the Kitty contest. Dal, I don't know if you remember that. I named it Meowful. I didn't even think it was that clever, but it won. And like, I know Illinois Ghost did like an entire video trying to break this whole doodle down into hints and clues. But again, it's that same arm pointing down. But for me, this is when I was searching in the Lamar Valley. So it told me I need to go look down further. And that's, in my mind, the canyon. But anyways, a super confirmation bias. But why are the arms always pointing down and everything like seems to be crossing something? But anyways, I just wanted to share this because I thought it was cool. And I'm proud of it. It's like my piece,
Nice.
my prize.
Nice.
Okay, prepare to laugh. That's Dave Calvi.
So he photoshopped him. Who did it? Did he do it? He photoshopped.
No, that's totally real. That's totally real. I think it's a pretty good Photoshop job. That's fun.
Oh
Hey,
God,
Dave.
It's excellent.
Hey,
Dave, could you take a screenshot of me and do that?
Wow, that was good.
Almost gave Cynthia a heart attack.
Looking at it, he didn't look like a millennial to me. He looked way too old. So that the picture didn't match today's story.
Let's see, Chasing Indy. Gotti actually was on TV and said Fenn told him he was really close to the chest. Google it. Google it.
Forrest told him he was within 1,000 feet of the chest.
Did he make a fake blaze?
I know. I don't know.
In that article where the finder says 1,000 feet from where the chest was found, there was a fake blaze. Oh. It was Gowdy. I'm joking. Just in case.
Good call out, though. Good call out, though. I mean, that's a good point.
Well, you know, when you're searching for a treasure, your brain all of a sudden starts honing in on anything that matches up, even when you don't want it to. Like when I'm watching TV, if I'm reading at the same time, if I read a word that is at the same time mentioned on TV, my brain's like, oh, because it's trained now.
I'd just like to point out that as far as we know, Gotti never searched Sunshine Basin or Sunlight Basin. Sunlight Basin.
Your audio got quiet again. For some reason, it goes quiet and then it goes loud. Sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I mean, he may have driven by the basin and might have been enough to be 1,000 feet away. I don't know.
That's true, depending on how far it is off the trail or the road.
I use that kind of nonsense all the time myself, so
I'm sure most of you guys can relate, like just day to day, you hear things on TV, you're reading a magazine, a book, whatever it is, anything that is remotely similar to the chase, you know, it's just like immediately draws your attention and you try and make some connection.
You're totally like this. And all of a sudden you're like, what was that?
Oh yeah. No doubt.
Okay. So there's more. Let's see here. Chasing Indy. It's not a canyon, Alan. It's a waterfall. Let's see. Huh. That's the same photo Drew at the finale, entitled it Brown Trout with the capital B.
See, the waterfall has to fall off something, though. So,
and that would be Forrest's wonderful way of playing. He knew that everybody was yapping about whether or not brown trout should be capitalized, and so, you know, just to stir the pot, he would capitalize when he wrote it. I mean, he just really liked that kind of stuff. He had fun with it.
Okay, and then here's one of the doodles that people wanted me to share. Like, so what the F? What the heck is happening here? What is this? Anyone? Explain.
Well, that was part of the event, right? This
yes.
was within a book that was going to end up at the event. Is that correct?
Yes. What is this?
That's all the people lined up on Fishing Bridge waiting to get their picture taken.
He actually has Fishing Bridge written there in the corner.
Over here. Over here. So is this him attempting to draw a bunch of different people?
Whose book is this?
So this image was on something, but it was also sent to me by Carrie Finley. Yeah. So Carrie Finley, if you are in the chat, you did send me some other doodles, but I don't know if I should share.
Carrie and her family at Fishing Bridge. She's got a lot of kids. She's got like 4 kids.
Okay. All right. So there you go.
That's a good drawing.
Question
that was really
asked, good. Question answered. Have I caught up? I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone. I'm trying to catch up here. I don't know. Alan K, can you see? So like, I don't know who can see the comments or not. So put Amy Seeks at Amy Seeks, and I'll make sure that, you know, and then the name or panel or something like that. And I'll make sure that I get to those questions. And let's see here. I'm going to go over, see, we got those doodles covered. The fish. Yeah. So Carrie Finley, let me know if you do want me to share those doodles. In the email, it wasn't explicit, and of course, I don't want to mess it up and share something that you were like, "Oh, don't share it." That would be bad. Oh, Chasing It, he says again, yes, but only 2 places were actually defined as the home of Brown, Nez Perce Creek, and Gibbon Falls. Oh, Tom Walker. Tom Walker says, Amy Seeks, I have enjoyed the show. Heading to bed. Good night, all. Night, Tom. Night, Karita. Watch out for those low-hanging sheep balls. Just
and great photographs. This guy's Tom's been taking wonderful pictures on his trip.
He is, yeah. The first time I saw photographs was like, so I met Cynthia and Tom and Karita 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I don't know. We're old. That's the basics of it. And he was taking pictures of like race cars, and they were clear and impressive. And I'm just like, those are good photos. Yeah. So I love his photography.
Wait a minute. Tom took pictures of race cars?
Yes. Yeah. That's part of what he was doing. It was very impressive. But then obviously at the different meetups and stuff like that, and the photographs, how many hits, Cynthia, did he say he got? Do you know, like on some of the photographs he took about the last meetup in Yellowstone?
Like hundreds of thousands, wasn't it? It was unbelievable. He could not believe how many views there were.
Yeah, it was very impressive. I mean, dang.
Yeah, if you haven't
nothing can break us up.
Yeah. If you haven't seen those photographs, you know, I mean, there's links on my blog, and there might be links, I'm sure, on other people's websites and blogs and forums too. You should look for them.
Can you guys hear him?
That's
Sorry,
me.
Dale.
You got quiet.
Quiet again.
Yeah, I got quiet. That's me. You're all
Wiggle.
so close. I think that you can just hear me if I whisper.
Wiggle the port. Maybe it's the port.
No, I think it's me.
That's the thing with every single time you go live, something's gonna go wrong. So far though, it seems like I fixed the echo, so that's good. You guys let me know.
I'm also falling asleep. I should cut out of here.
Are you?
So, yeah, I'm gonna go to Betty Bye and dream about various kinds of chests. So we'll catch all you guys later. All right?
I'm going to put that up there.
Dale, do you need me to help you out with that? Inside joke.
Yeah. Not again, thanks. Not right now.
This show's turning rated R very quickly.
It did.
Well, it is past 10.
That's true.
Hey, he's gone. I was going to ask him if he had any parting words, but I guess he's going to dream of different chests is his parting word.
Bye, Dale.
Thank you, Dale. Godspeed.
Bye, Mike from Michigan.
Oh my Lord, that was brutal. MEH says gotta go. Thanks, Amy Seeks, and for all the news and entertainment. Because let's face it, this is entertainment value, people. It's really, yeah. I don't know how much information we're actually, partaking in, but I mean, so the basic recap for the entire day is we have an article from what most of us believe is the Finder. He has given us hope that more information will be coming forward, but we don't know what that information is. He has a cryptic saying where he says he's going to answer questions, but then he says like, no, not that one, which is where the chest was found is what we're assuming. Cynthia let us know about how the treasure chest exchange had been done, as far as the finder had a note inside the treasure chest that told him to give the chest to Forrest. So he retrieved the chest for Forrest, gave it to Forrest. Forrest then said, "Thank you for finding my chest for me," and then said, "Here, have a chest." and it was a one-time gift. And I think Hooley said something like a max of $3 million. So somebody can give a one-time gift that's tax-free to someone. And that's how this exchange was done. So we've got that information, plus the weird bracelet thing where the finder in the article says that he gave the bracelet, Jesus, it's a long day, the bracelet back to Forrest, even though when Cynthia, this is the weird thing, Cynthia asked about the bracelet, and even though Forrest told her about the chest exchange, he said he wasn't going to say anything about the bracelet. Like, what's the big deal about saying something about the bracelet? So maybe there's something more that's going to come out about it, or maybe it's something more intimate for Forrest about the bracelet. Maybe the bracelet stays with him in his urn, something like that. We don't know. But I think that's the general recap. Do you guys have anything to contribute to that basic? Oh, and the doodles, of course, with Cynthia with like this little tiny treasure chest in her back pocket. And the context of her asking for a clue or a hint from Forrest.
Whether or not I had been close. It wasn't, I did not ask him for a hint to where it was. I asked him to give me a hint if I was ever close.
Right. All right, you have to page through the rest of the book.
It was in my back pocket the whole time. And then I followed Justin Posey into Sunlight Basin. One thing I'd like to say to everybody that's watching this and who did boots on the ground, whether you did 1 or 1,000, especially for people, because I know Justin and I searched Sunlight Basin. It is the biggest, most beautiful place I have ever been. It can compete with Yellowstone. It doesn't have the diversity Yellowstone does, but it's got beauty that unless you see it, and I was just there, it's gorgeous in the fall as well. You know, I don't care that I didn't find a treasure chest because I was there in the wrong spot. It was totally worth spending a year there.
I love that. And I think I heard you earlier.
I was going to say, as other places, just like Alan being in the Lamar Valley and all the people. I mean, there's just so much more to the boots on the ground chase than finding that chest. And I just can't imagine anyone would regret any of their trips that they took.
Yeah. Lisa Smith says, please tell Cynthia that my thoughts and prayers are with her. I know she was close to Forrest. Thank you. Thank you for all you've done with the chase. The unknown says that Forrest valued the chest at $25K. He would put anything in it and still $25K. I don't know what that means.
The chest itself was worth $25K, but everything inside it's a whole different story.
I thought so. Huli says, my numbers were wrong. What numbers?
Where she said 3 million, that you can do a one-time gift of 3 million. Forrest told me a number and it was a lot higher than 3 million.
Okay. All right.
It definitely was a lot more than the value of that chest would even get, I think, at auction. I mean, it was very good.
Okay. Chasing Indy says, I just want to reiterate that Dale said Fenn quoted Gowdy being 1,000 feet from the chest, and we all know where Gowdy searched. I am unfamiliar with that one, but okay.
But Dale did say that tonight. Dale said it just right before he left, that Gowdy, or that Forrest had told Gowdy that he was within 1,000 feet of the chest.
Okay.
But I'm going to
I missed that.
Devil's advocate on that one, though. Gowdy drove somewhere to get to the search spot.
That's why it's a nothing burger, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If Gowdy never went to the Canadian border or Glacier, I mean, yeah, but it just puts Gowdy in with it where everybody else was. Like, I think it's a nothing burger, but that's just me.
Okay. Minotaur Marino has a question for Alan Kay about the Thrill of the Chase book that he found from 1983.
Don't make me bring this up now.
Okay.
It's not the Thrill of the Chase. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I can. I mean, I'll show it right now because I have it right in front of me. But that's it. And then I'm putting it down. It's not Thrill of the Chase.
By D.B. Cooper. Rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole, but twice in that book, on page, I don't know what it is, 112, he says he was in it for the thrill of the chase. And if anyone out there can find any mention of someone using the term the thrill of the chase before 1983, please send it to me.
Very interesting. Okay. There's your research assignment for the night. After you guys are done drinking and talking about this, sober up and research that.
While you're drinking is better.
Okay, while you're drinking, correction. Okay, so Tamara Lamb says, maybe bracelet was promised to granddaughter who expressed her love of his bracelet. That is a possibility. Maybe he did want to keep it in the family. Jack says, what are you drinking? Make it for two. It is a gin and elderflower tonic with a little bit of strawberry syrup in it.
His granddaughter wanted the dragon bracelet, though, not the turquoise bead bracelet.
Oh, thank you for the correction.
One of the granddaughters actually said on the Richard Eads show that she wanted the turquoise bracelet, but I can't remember which granddaughter it was.
Richard Eads, I'm thinking of the same interview, and she said she wanted that dragon bracelet with all the crazy sapphires or whatever's on there.
Your next research assignment, chat room, is to listen to the Richard Eads show.
And there were at least 3 of them, so you have to. But I think it was Mika that was on the show. So
it was Mika.
That had Mika on it because she was only on one.
And I think Dale was on with one of them. I think
he was.
And then just Forrest on another.
Yeah, Forrest liked to have kind of someone nearby helping, because that way he wouldn't just get barraged with questions, stuff like that. Just like that one time when I think it was the oh Lord, I can't think of the name of the book because it used to be Chasing a Vagabond was the original title for the book, but it was called instead
The Rise sequel.
What? No, this third book. Fishing for a Star. It was originally going to be called
Are you talking about his book?
The third book, Forrest Fenn's book.
Once Upon a While?
Thank you. Dang. Once Upon a While. Yeah. So I was like a really hardcore searcher. So Once Upon a While, at that one, he had Shiloh up there and they had pre-planned for certain questions. If they were going to ask certain questions, Shiloh was prepared to answer in a certain way for Forrest. He liked having somebody there at the ready just in case something like that would come up. And that's where I was going with that long, because Chasing a Vagabond, that was the one, wasn't that for the first book, not the, or was it for Once Upon a While? That was the original title for one of his books. I thought it was Once Upon a While, but anyone?
I don't know.
I remember him saying that phrase, and I can picture it, but I don't remember what he was saying.
Chasing a Vagabond was the original name for one of his books, but I can't remember which one. Tamara Lamb says, for Cynthia, I plan to purchase your book still. Oh, it's a good book. I have it. I have it right here. So just momentito. Where is it? There we go.
And Cynthia, while she was grabbing that, it sounded earlier like you said, like, why the hell are we even bringing up doodles? Like, what the hell's the point? But I also heard you say, you're going to keep chasing, like, keep looking for the spot. And so which one is it? Yeah.
I am. But that's just me because I'm sort of weird and crazy. And
me too.
I'm retired and I have time and I just can't stop searching.
I'll see you in Wyoming.
Yeah. It's the best stuff that ever happened to me in the last 10 years of my life. So, I hate to give up that boots on the ground.
Okay.
I come up with every excuse possible to keep it up.
I know. It's like, well, let's see. First, when it was found, or when Forrest announced it had been found, it's like, I didn't believe there was a finder. And it was like, I'm going to keep on looking. I was ready to go like the next day. And then he put the pictures, 10 days later, there's pictures that obviously the chest had been retrieved. So it's like, well, okay, so the chest is no longer out there, but I still don't think there was a finder. I'm going to keep searching. And now today, it appears there is a finder and I'm still going to keep searching.
Well, even when we went out after the Fembury, along the Nez Perce, like, I just enjoyed that. I'd love to get out and just keep searching, trying to find the spot that I think would be correct. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Well, let's do it.
And awesome. Here's a quick one from 3D Bronze, which you guys are going to appreciate. 3D Bronze says, the Mika quote is, quote, I've always told them that if you find it, the only thing that I want is that turquoise bracelet. You can keep the gold and you can keep the jade.
I lose that. I lose that argument then. That's awesome.
I just have to say kudos to the chat room. Holy cow. Minotaur Moreno says, Amy seeks for the panel I know Ojo Caliente is now an obvious where warm waters halt, but why are there where warm waters halts better than that? Oh, I'm guessing where. It is in Too Far to Walk, and it is on page 107 of the original Fly Water. Did
I
I
think
read
that
that
there,
right, or did
there
I
are better
slaughter that?
options than Ojo Caliente. The reason I say that is because I still go back to that deciduous leaf that is in the photograph of the found treasure. If that was in the immediate area where it was found, presumably so, that's where he took the photo, then there aren't any deciduous trees in the vicinity of Ojo Caliente. So I think that's pretty definitive proof to me that it's not in that area. I did reach out to somebody at the University of Arizona. I knew somebody over in the plant sciences department. No, it's the other photo actually.
Oh, that's right. Shoot.
Yeah, that's okay.
The original photo.
Yeah, no, I reached out to them just to see if they
bad.
could get some sort of ID on that what I think was a leaf in the photo, and they didn't want to be quoted on it, but they did mention that it's a deciduous leaf of some sort, most likely aspen. And if that's the case, then it's pretty easy to rule out the Ojo Caliente area.
Right. Okay, I'm going to try and find that photo. Just give me a second, but you guys keep chatting here.
Sure.
If that is an aspen leaf, that ought to give us the an elevation also. It probably varies by state at the elevation that aspens grow.
6,000 to 10,000 feet.
Well, I'm sorry, what was it?
Between 6,000 and 10,000 feet.
6 and 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for Yellowstone, that hardly narrows it down.
Yeah. Well, actually, though, I mean, at least in the western part, northwestern part of Yellowstone, there aren't a ton of aspens. So, it does help. It's a good litmus test, I think.
I will use that now when I go search.
Yeah.
Look
And
for aspen
3D
trees.
Brown, just, I'm going to defend myself on the dragon bracelet, because in that same interview, Mika says, there's a bracelet that I remember. Oh, shit, I just moved my quote. She said she remembers one bracelet vividly, and it's the dragon bracelet. But then she says, before or after, that she wants a turquoise bracelet. But I think she only asked for that because she wants it back for Forrest, not for herself. I think she remembers vividly the dragon bracelet because it's so amazing. But she wants that turquoise bracelet back for her grandpa, which is very cute. So anyways, we all win.
And there is a beautiful picture of that right here. Oopsie. Let me zoom in on this. Look at it there in the corner, just hanging out, just casual. I'm a little dragon bracelet.
That's so awesome.
No big deal. Here's the cloth that it was wrapped in to protect it, which honestly, wouldn't you have that in like a, PVC protected something?
It's so lucky actually that bracelet didn't get damaged, right? Because he forgot the scissors were in there, and it was right next to this priceless, well, not priceless, but very expensive bracelet. It's a very good thing he put it at least in cloth, because otherwise, geez,
I know. It's like, Forrest, what the heck were you thinking?
How could you forget to leave that scissors in there? I mean,
here it is. Here's the little head poking out, the little dragon head poking out of this rusted cloth next to these fused together rusted scissors.
What were those scissors doing in there? I mean, as far as I can surmise, he was just using the scissors to cut the cloth, and then he just forgot and left it in there. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. Forrest does not forget something like that. That's so weird.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
right there, I forgot. I accidentally left the scissors in there. Like, geez,
Yeah. I love though, he said that the finder said, I figured they belonged to King Tut or something like that.
You know what's crazy? I mean, I just had a baby. That's like the same scissors you use when you cut the umbilical cord. And I know there's some analogies there, but anyways.
Umbilical.
No longer umbilically connected to. It looks so weird.
Diggity. Okay, some more questions from the chat coming in. Meaning the Firehole River. Yes, Chasing Indy, Firehole River. I know if it's the Firehole River, we're all going to be like, son of a bleep. Fergus T. Longacre, well, that's a fun name, says, can you ask Cynthia if she finds a spot she's convinced is correct? Would she share it or keep it quiet out of respect for Forrest's spot?
There is no place. I mean, there's no way I would know that for sure it was the spot. I mean, I can have my ideas that it,
unless the finder left something.
I've been wrong for over 8 years. Why would I be right now?
Yeah, I know how you feel.
We've all been wrong for years. Okay.
Like Cascade Corner is pretty high on the list, at least for me. That, I don't know if you guys have been there before, but that place is phenomenal.
Where are you saying?
Cascade Corner. It's the southwestern corner of Yellowstone. It's in Wyoming. Most folks who go to Yellowstone never visit that area of the park. It's actually pretty remote. It's one of the few areas where you can enter the park without paying an admission, which I kind of like in the context of the chase, because it's level playing field. You're not required to pay any fee in order to find this thing, but it's still in the national park. It's kind of cool, and absolutely beautiful.
And it's in Wyoming
Corner.
Is that in the Wyoming part?
It is. And the other thing that I thought was really compelling about it is that the place directly south of the border of Yellowstone, right there, is Forest Service, and it's leased to the Boy Scouts of America. And I thought that's kind of a cool way to kind of give kids a leg up. I do recall a comment to that effect that Forrest made at some point. Imagine you're at Boy Scout camp and you read about this, and you're like, wow, it'd be really cool to find this thing. And then it's actually much more accessible to you just by virtue of being at the camp. I kind of like that.
That's cool. Which entrance do you actually get in to get there? I know you
None
said
of the
southeast.
official entrances.
Okay.
So it's the path that generally the Boy Scouts use at that camp. The camp is called Camp Lowell, Loll. And if you look just directly north of that, there's Rainbow Falls there. There's Terrace Falls, Cascade Creek, just absolutely beautiful. Everyone I've taken there said that it's the most beautiful area of the park they've seen.
Yeah,
wow.
I had the Cascade thing on a map back in 2018, but I never pursued anything there. Maybe because I thought it was too difficult for me to go there. So that's the part of the park I know the least, is the southwest corner. But it sounds to me like I need to go check it out. So.
Oh, it's worth it. Yeah, definitely a fly fisherman's paradise too. There's great fishing there.
Nice. And we know that you are not someone who always throws the catch back.
Not always, no. I mean, a man's got to eat, right?
That's right. Okay, and so let's see here. From Seamus is heartbroken. Oh, I'm so sorry you're heartbroken. Can you ask any and all Firehole believers if they have ever seen the Rusty Geyser at Biscuit Basin? Biscuit Basin is like one that so many of us are like, biscuits and gravy, Biscuit Basin, it's got to be it.
I've certainly seen it. But again, I kind of go back to the deciduous leaf argument. So, but I've kind of ruled it out at this point.
And Rusty, like the fire pole that he slid down exiting the schoolhouse.
Yeah, there's also Iron Springs Creek right there in the basin too, pretty close to Old Faithful. That's another area that was compelling, at least to me at the time.
There's also an Iron Springs that's hot warm water there at the Gibbon too.
That's right. Yeah, that goes in there over to Secret Valley
several times. And other searchers did too. It wasn't just me.
Where trimmed hair for the chest. Ed Hooley says he trimmed a hair for the chest. Elaborate on that, Hooley.
I think
he pulled the hair out of his head, right? So that they could find him. So that they could find the person that hid it 1,000 years from now.
He said so they could identify the weirdo that hid that treasure chest.
something like that.
Here's a question from the unknown. I'm sure Forrest knows all about accelerated aging process. Yes, it's a known process in the art world. Outcast Searcher says, has anyone on the panel ever check out Camel Rock, Yellowstone National Park, just past June Creek?
Nope.
Yeah.
Wow, that was fast. I was hoping to
Doing it
get
now.
something done here on my email, but you guys really just
Sorry to
cut me
disappoint.
I'm like, I was hoping you were going to chat for a little while so I could take care of this, and you didn't. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. There's more questions. He shows us he used it to add patina to bronze in one of his scrapbooks, right? Minotaur Moreno, can you please tell Cynthia the video she made in Yellowstone and finding the bison skull with that other lady was absolutely awesome. She was totally carpe DMing that day. Oh, Amy Seeks, did you find the photo with the deciduous leaf? Give me a second. It's basically, so the deciduous leaf is the original posting by the finder. Well, I guess photo by the finder, posting by Forrest. And give me a second and I will pull that up. Have the same folks that have seen Rusty Geyser seen Black Sand Basin?
Yep. A lot to search there.
Could you elaborate?
I'm trying to think how to elaborate. I probably spent, I don't know, a couple of weeks there poking around. My best guess.
I need to buy some more time here.
Well, okay,
You're
I'll
a big
tell you about
basin guy,
patina.
Justin.
What's that?
I said you're a big basin guy. It seems like, Justin. You like
Yeah.
all the basins.
You know, I was a big fan of the endorheic basin concept for quite a while, you know, in Wyoming. Pretty unique geographic feature, but, you know, it's such an expansive area. It was pretty hard to nail it down. But that patinaed bronze comment just got me thinking, that's actually how I did Tucker's training. Like I got, you know, the dog for sniffing out bronze. I got some bronze online, actually, just through Amazon, these big strips of bronze, and I cut them down. And then you can actually use just any type of vinegar to like speed up the patina process. And so I was curious to know, like, if there was a difference between like the smell profile of patinaed bronze versus just non-patinaed bronze. And so I did a series of loose experiments with the dog, you know, hiding patinaed versus non-patinaed after I had really trained him to hone in on the patinaed bronze. And it actually appeared that he was much preferred the patinaed smell. So I think that there is a pretty distinctive difference from a dog's point of view if you're curious.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're picking up on millions of olfactory individual smells, you know, and they're discerning individual ones. So if fresh bronze is going to smell completely different from aged bronze.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll show you guys my crack team. You're going to see my bronze sniffing dog. She's totally wiped out right now.
She bends over and says like she was source for crack team.
Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Look at that sleepy face. She is ready to find some gold.
Did you wake her up from a nap?
Yes, I did. She's like, where am I? What are you doing? Leave me alone. Didn't I? Can I have a kiss? Oh, she's so smart. Smartest dog ever. And for any of you who don't know, this was my grandma's dog.
Oh.
And that is why she's named Buffy.
Okay.
I thought it was Willie and Forrest
Come on, bud.
dog.
That's right. I bought this dog so I can get good in with Forrest because of Willie, even though she's 14 years old. She's so wiped out. She's like, what are you doing to me?
Oh.
She's a YouTube star now.
That's right. Yeah. Are you excited? Say hi to everyone. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
There's Tucker.
Oh, Tucker!
I woke him up from a nap too, so he's.
Oh, Buffy wants to meet Tucker. Hey, what's up, buddy? They both look completely bewildered.
Oh yeah, he's like, what is going on? I should be in bed.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that was your like cute baby dog moment for you guys at home, just to make you feel good. You're welcome. Okay. Oh shoot. There's a lot of orange in the chat. Amy Seeks.
See,
okay,
we
there's
distracted
questions.
you again. Sorry.
It's really, working on the gin and tonic there. Let's see here. Let me catch up. Give me a moment. Just the bronze. Minotaur Merino. Nope, that's done. Did you find the photo with the deciduous leaf? Oh, right. Still working on the deciduous leaf photo. Give me just a moment. Seamus heartbroken.
You can go to Dale's blog. He has it.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll catch up here.
I can pull it up if you want. Yeah.
Oh, that would be so. I would be so thankful. Thank you.
No problem.
Seamus is heartbroken. Says, have the same folks. Oh no, been there. Okay, I have caught up. Sunset Lane. Chris H. Aspen trees go with forest fence saying the chest was found under a canopy of stars. Sunlight coming through, moving aspen leaves, creating a shimmering, twinkling effect similar to stars. Lisa Smith says, for anyone, didn't the scissors shown by Forrest originally have a shape to them, like an animal or something? I know some scissors do, like they'll be a crane or something like that, but I didn't see that in those. Jim, oh, Toby's in the house. Toby, Gypsy Kiss. I can't even say it right. A gypsy's kiss. He says, please send me Zoom invitation. Alrighty then.
Here it
Hold
is.
on. Da-da-da.
Here's the photo I was talking about. So
Thank you.
this is really
Thank you,
the
Justin.
section here. Yeah, no problem. Down here in this area here, for anybody who's familiar with aspen leaves and what they look like after they dry out, it's this guy here. And this is what I sent over to the University of Arizona just to ask the plant sciences guy about this. He's, I think he's in botany, just around what the confidence level was that this is a deciduous leaf. And he seemed pretty certain that it was. So I think that helps just for, like I said, a litmus test. If there's no deciduous trees in the immediate area or surrounding area where you're looking, then there's a good chance that it might not be the correct area.
Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
If anyone else wants to help me try and make this less of a train wreck, please feel free.
You're doing fine. It's all good.
I just keep smiling and hoping that people are just like, she's smiling, it's fine. Like a really bad waitress who is like a terrible waitress, but she's just like, here's your drink. I'm so sorry. I'm doing my best. That's me.
Yeah, but
I'm
you probably
still
pour
getting
good drinks,
crappy
Amy.
tip. What's that?
You probably pour really good drinks though, so I'd be cool with that.
Well, you always got to pour a little extra.
Of course.
I mean, come on. Especially when the people are nice. And you give them extra sides and then you get in trouble for doing all that.
Sounds like you've had experience there.
Oh, yeah. I have had every job under the sun working my way through college. Yeah. A lot of people, see me and think, oh, life is so easy. And I'm like, okay. If you want to think that, I'm okay with that. But, it was a train wreck growing up because, when you don't have money, you need to make money. And if you don't have money in college, you need to make a lot of money while you're still trying to figure out how to get through physics without flunking. And it's a train wreck. That's all I can say physics. Oh man, that was brutal.
It'll give you.
Because you're working like 2 or 3 jobs, you're working like 2 or 3 jobs and you're just like, okay, now I have to study for a physics exam. Oh, nope. It's a chemistry exam. Oh, nope. It's just like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. So, anyway, so waitressing was one of my many jobs.
What did you study in college?
I bounced around a little. I know that's shocking. Right? So I started off with biology and fine arts. Then I went to molecular biology and photography. And then I switched to molecular biology, back to fine arts. So it was this double major thing, right? So you're trying to like do all this. And then I dabbled in physical chemistry. Bad decision. Bad decision. If you're not unaware, physical chemistry is basically the 3D modeling on a chemistry level. And I'm like, and I think the first few courses, I'm just like, this is so hard. So, but I ended up graduating with molecular biology and fine arts. So that was my double major in the end. And I'm just like, I have to pick one because if I keep floundering, I can't afford to keep paying for this. So yeah, and I wasn't smart enough to get scholarships. So it was kind of like I was at World Series of Fen. I was just doling out the cash. Take my money, please. Here, have some more money. Would you like some more money? Here you go.
Sure, we'll take some.
Yes. Yeah. Ask anyone at my table, like Lisa Marie. She was so sweet. Her and her husband were there and they were laughing so hard at me. Because I'd get a good hand. And I'm like,
no tell it all there.
And I'm like, whoo, all in. So you're welcome for anyone who was at my table. Birdie was at my table. You're welcome for all the money I kept buying back in. It was bad. Okay. Back. Can you ask Justin oh, there we go. HEK is in the house. Oh, he's sideways.
Hey, Toby. You're looking a little slanted these days.
Seamus is heartbroken. Can you ask Justin if he knows of 3 pools at Black Sand Basin?
Oh yeah, like Emerald Pool and was it Sunrise or Sunset? I'm trying to recall the third, but yes.
That's a yes. So Justin, why don't you make this really simple on all of us? Where did you not search?
Yeah, actually a pretty short list. That's pretty embarrassing. I'll get back to you. I'll compile a little list for you. It'll be a short list.
There you go, Seamus.
Justin, did you ever send Forrest anything about a solve that he replied to on any of your solves?
Yeah, so the Sunlight Basin solve actually in 2014, he was, I think, the first person to comment on it on Dale's blog, and then he had gone through Dale to get my contact information, and I spoke to him a little bit about that, and he had mentioned that he and his friend George were familiar with that area and went and collected buffalo skulls and hunted them over the years. Yeah, Dabbage, yeah. And then we just kind of shifted the conversation toward fishing. Yeah.
So did that, because he replied and like interacted with you, did that immediately like shoot down that as a?
Well, I mean, it was tough, man. I mean, the fact that he replied so quickly seemed to me that he had a keen interest of sorts, but it was hard to really, say that it was because that's where the treasure area was. So I still kept it high on my list. I searched there a lot. Yeah.
The good thing that I find about when he acknowledges he's been to an area that he has not talked about on scrapbooks or anything, to me, that is the best reason to keep going there, because now you are in a place where he said, didn't he tell you he knew every square inch of Sunlight Basin, or however he put it? So that means he was there. And this is what I held on as I continued to search there too, knowing that Ford has been everywhere in that area and never talked about it publicly. I like that part. I mean, whether or not he would have talked about it publicly, because he actually did talk about George and him looking for the bison skulls and the horn. That's it. So he did write about it, but he never used the words. He called it Skylight Country. He never used the word Sunlight Basin or Sunlight Creek.
Oh, that's right.
That's awesome. Amy, I think your echo's back, by the way, but anyways.
I can't hear Amy.
How's it going, Toby?
Can you hear me, Justin?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I can't hear Amy. I can hear Justin. Cynthia, can you hear me?
Yes, I think Amy muted herself.
Oh,
You
I
sound
see.
good,
All
Toby.
right. Okay, good. I'm actually in my living room. I'm not in the studio. I'm using the cell phone. I've just never used this before like this. Cynthia, I just wanted to say we miss you. We loved having you here, and I know you had to go, but we miss you a lot, and it's nice seeing you again.
Thank you.
She's pretty easy to miss. Let me know. So I think I fixed it again. I think it's a wire issue with this microphone.
Sounds
but
good
let me
now.
know. Does it sound good now? Okay.
Much better.
When I re-input it and press the turn off original sound on Zoom, it seems to fix the problem. So there we go. Okay. You have feedback. Thank you, Nomadic. I really appreciate when the chat lets me know what's going on. Thank you.
Toby, I have to ask you, of all the areas, I know that you've done some boots on the ground. You've heard a lot of input from other searchers, probably more than anyone else. If someone had to force you and say, look, where do you think this thing was? Just general area. How would you respond?
If we exclude the New Mexico fishing regulations and don't look in New Mexico anymore.
Sure.
And we have to accept the fact that Forrest said it was in Wyoming. The
Yeah.
finder tends to substantiate that. I'm not a big fan of Yellowstone, as probably everybody knows. I don't feel like it was in Yellowstone. If for no other reason, the legal challenges that would be faced, whether Forrest had passed or not. So I think there's two areas that intrigued me. One was the area in Sinks Canyon. Although it was very busy, you'd have to get way, way up in altitude before you lost any of the vehicular traffic. I mean, you had to go above the canyon and into the mountains. The other one that intrigued me was and I'm not sure, I'll probably mess up the pronunciation. I think it was the Absaroka Mountains that were south and west of Cody. And it was one of my first areas way, way back when I started. It was one of the first areas that I was intrigued by, simply because I knew how much time he had spent in Cody. I started imagining that drive that he took that day and how far he could have gotten from the hotel he was in Cody while his wife was being entertained by the wives of the other members of the board of director. And there was just a lot of good places. And it was a national forest, so there was no problems. It was off the tribal land. You don't get to the tribal lands until you get further south. But those are the ones that intrigued me the most. I know this sounds funny for a lot of people, but as much as I enjoyed visiting Yellowstone, I just never felt that putting it on property administered by the National Park Service made any legal sense to me.
I flip-flopped on that a lot. On one hand, I was in complete alignment with your thinking. But then on the other hand, it was, you think about areas that were less volatile, the least amount of volatility in terms of, just somebody's ability to desecrate the area. It seemed to me that Yellowstone would stand the test of time more than pretty much any other land designation. That national park, unless it's designated wilderness area, which is kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to preservation of land, it was hard to imagine another place that would have those sort of guarantees.
Well, it was interesting that in the document that was presented today on Medium by quote the finder unquote, he made it a point to mention that one of the objectives he wished to accomplish was to ensure the integrity and the security of the location in which Fenn hid the treasure and which the finder found it. That he wants to go back there someday, lay down with his hat over his eyes, resting in the sun, imagining that Forrest was there next to him somehow. And Fenn always mentioned to the location as a special place, and we through the interpretation of his writings, we always assumed that was the place where he would want to go to lay down with a bottle of Jack Daniels and a bottle of pills and die. And what you get out of today's document is that it wasn't just a special place. It sounds to me like it was a sacred place, in the same way that the Native Americans find places that are sacred, untouchable. How many movies have we seen where Native Americans literally establish tribal properties, not only in terms of the tribal ownership, but places within those properties that are sacred, and literally they don't want anybody there. That's how sacred, that's where they bury their dead. That's where their spirits are. That's where they talk with their spirits, their gods. So I started to think, after read this, I changed my perception of the importance of this place from special to sacred. The other thing that I thought was interesting, and he made a comment, and I can't recite it precisely, but it was something like he got into Forrest's head and where he wanted to die. And I think we all, at some time or the other, as we confronted the challenges of understanding where Fenn could have put this treasure, we all thought, well, it's a special place. It's where he wanted to die. And then we move on to other things like the New Mexico fishing regulations or whatever, right? This gentleman, or this person, never lost sight of the idea that it's where Forrest wanted to die, or wanted to, leave his body. And I think part of that resulted in two things. Number one, he was very focused on that idea. And so it puts an interesting spin on what part of Forrest's head you're getting into. You're not getting into the head that was the author of over a dozen books and the gallery owner. You're getting into the part of his head that is lonesome, insecure, and just imagines that one day he might have to take his own life on a rock, near a tree, near a river, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't ever, although, like I said, personally, I do recall thinking about Fenn's special place and what it would be like. I never thought of it in terms of the sacristy and the commitment to a special place to die that this person did. And the other thing that I noticed about him is I'm going to be really surprised if he's an identifiable member of the community. And one of the reasons is that I have theorized, and it's just an opinion, that part of the problem with us finding the treasure is that we created a lot of chaos in the hunt, that every time I wrote an article or made a video, somebody else responded to it in another way, that we'd create this additional chaos. And it sounds to me like he was intentionally isolated himself from that chaos in order to focus in on this area. The fact that he went to the same location, I've been to a lot of locations. I went to Rio de los Pinos 7 or 8 times. I never went to any place 25 times. That's a lot of times. And that's a lot of,
that's commitment.
That's not only commitment, it's a sense that you're finding, the reason I'd leave someplace like the Rio de los Pinos is I would get frustrated.
Just twice. I'm drinking twice now.
Oh, okay. So, and I don't have a drink nearby. The reason that I left the RDLP was I wasn't getting any confirmation. I'd find a place where warm waters.
Where were you searching?
The Rio de los Pinos.
Oh.
But I'd leave it. I never went for all the places that we went, 37 different boots on the ground. There were none more than 8 times to the same location.
Wow.
Right. So you start thinking about, this guy went back to the same place 25 times. And I know, Justin, you have a hell of a big number of the times you've been out boots on the ground. I think you're the only one who I wouldn't ask, and maybe Cynthia, who I wouldn't ask, did you hit that 25 times in one location number? I'm sure you have, because I know your numbers. I know Cynthia has done a lot of it, but I don't know if it's 25 is not only commitment, it's confirmation. There's something there that keeps saying, that keeps bringing me.
Definitely here.
Or insanity.
Yeah.
That's
Or
Is that
or
the Einstein
insanity,
quote?
except that he gets a lot more sane when he says he has the treasure. You know, it's
no doubt.
funny. And he doesn't write like an insane person.
He got credibility real fast on that 26th time or 25th time.
Yeah. So,
well, Toby, I heard
just,
you say that, you know, you put the finder in quotes in terms of that article. Do you have reason to believe that it may not have been the finder?
No, I actually I've received emails from several journalists today, and I did the same thing because one has to have, I think, you know, I'm probably the easiest person in the world to convince when it comes to Fenn Treasure. I had the faith, right? I believed he hid a treasure. I believed he wrote a poem that told me where the treasure was. And I believed I had the whatever skills necessary to find it. So when I wrote the finder in quotes, it was only because I feel like we need some additional evidence. And I guess my rationale is there's going to be, and I'm going to use this in quotes, members of the community, unquote, who will never have enough information to get as far as I have. I've got faith, right? Fenn hid a treasure, told me where to find it, and somebody beat me to it, right?
Yes.
So that's the Occam's razor. I think Alan mentioned, or you, Justin mentioned it earlier. That's the Occam's razor version of that. Some people won't have that. There are still people arguing. I noticed on Facebook today, there are still people, or the forums, they're still debating. Is this real? Is the best one is, this is the guy that Shiloh hired to recover the treasure, then write the article with Douglas Preston's help. So it sounded literate. Like, wow, you just took Occam's razor, ripped it apart, and threw it over your shoulder. So.
they were like, haha, take that.
Yeah, I mean, I am no more, I am saddened by the idea that it wasn't me and Shelley that found this treasure. I am not saddened to the extent I'm not saddened to the extent that I would make up irrational reasons why someone else found it and I didn't, or why the treasure is not there. There was somebody on your show earlier today.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember. He was being very vociferous. Was it Davio? I don't want to pick on him.
no,
But he kept saying, and it wasn't, but I wanted to ask him the question. The question I wanted to ask him was, where do you believe the treasure is right now? Where is it?
That's
right
a good
now?
question for that kind of. So when somebody has a conspiracy theory, you want to try and reason out why they find themselves there, because these are reasonable people. You know, these are reasonable people coming to these conclusions. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, they're reasonable people coming to the conclusion of more of a conspiracy theory kind of outcome. And yeah, I want to sit down with those people and talk for hours, because I'm like, okay, so, you know, without as much evidence, like the evidence is more leaning towards Occam's razor, you know, these kinds of things. So what leans you more towards more of the conspiracy theory kind of side of things? Like, what brings you to that point? And that's an excellent question. Where do you think the treasure chest is at this moment?
At this moment, is it in Fenn's, you know, vault? Is it in Cynthia's truck? Is it in still in the mountains?
I can tell you one thing. It wasn't in Fenn's vault the day before the event took place, because a search went to the event was at Fenn's house, and Forrest took him inside that vault.
Intentionally?
I asked this guy, is that possible it was there covered with a bandana or whatever? And he said, not that he could see it. So it might be in Fenn's house if that's what people want to believe, but it ain't in the vault.
No, I mean, the guy said in the article he's going to sell it. So it's either in a safety deposit box, it's in a strong hold somewhere.
A secure location.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like I said, on our show tonight, I said it was as if, not that I'm taking any credit here, but it was as he looked at he watched our video. He wants to maintain his anonymity. He wants to liquidate the treasure as soon as possible, deal with whatever tax issues there are, and never reveal the location of the find. I mean, he's doing exactly what we suggested.
I can't handle that truth.
Oh yeah, that's going to be, yeah. He has
It's a tough pill to swallow.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, the Barbara Andersons of the, forgive me, but the Barbara Andersons of the world have ensured.
Oh,
my
was
phone's
that
about to-
intentional? I didn't do that,
no.
people. I didn't do that. I
Yeah.
swear.
No, my phone is, I've been using it all day and it isn't charged. So I'll have to say goodbye. I always pop in long enough to say something controversial. I don't mean to do that. But I wanted to know that I love you guys and that we're experiencing it. It's just that it's easier for me because I have faith. The Occam's razor rule says you hit a treasure, somebody found it. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Cheers to that, Toby. And by the way, I'm just going to plug your book. It's an awesome book. I mean,
Thank
I'm just
you.
going to say it's really good.
Thank you.
And I
we
appreciate
worked-
it. So thank you.
We worked hard. And I
Thank
got to
you,
tell
Toby.
you, it really was a team effort in the sense that I had a basic story that I had told for years and years. Are you going to give those away? You can give those away.
Oh, I know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I have giveaways, people. Oh, yeah.
But Toby, I've been following you. I mean, you and probably Calazars are the reason why I stuck with Fen for 4 years ago. But
Mhm.
this book, and I've been watching you for 4 years, but this book is different. And it's just really well written, and it was an easy read. And so great job on that. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
the
That's very kind.
finale raffle, actually, my choice was your
Oh, did you
signed
pick it
copy
up?
of your book. So thank
Yeah,
you very
good.
much.
Good. Our pleasure. I sent one to Cynthia. I sent one to Cynthia, didn't I? Didn't I send one to Cynthia? You've got a numbered version. I will get you one as soon as we get the new batch in. So I would love for you to have it and review it.
Thank you.
We're getting good reviews in Amazon. They're very positive. And people, I like that they say, it was a page turner, or I started some woman wrote, my husband gave it to me so that I could get an interest in treasure hunting. And he had to bring me to bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, okay, enough already. So,
Well, when it's over $10,000.
it's something.
But that's it.
I mean,
like,
it
I
is
haven't even.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh,
not,
sorry to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I haven't even started like searching yet. Like, I just enjoyed the book so far. Like, I haven't even like started plotting things on a map. I'm not looking for the treasure yet. I probably won't ever go boots on the ground. It was just a great book and a great story. And I don't know how much of it is true or not, but it's awesome. So.
Well, the fundamental story, we put it in fiction because we added some fiction to it. And oops, I'm going. All right, guys.
Oh,
But the basic story is true. The fact that I left school, borrowed my uncle's motorcycle, and went to New Orleans, met Mariah, jumped in the river, had a thing with Jean-Luc, jumped in the river, was taken by the police. All of that stuff, including coming back on the train, is true. We had to add some things to make it a treasure hunt. And we had some added things so that it had a complete story arc, but it was fun. And Shelley, I got to tell you, this book would be half as good if it wasn't for Shelley, just keeping us in line, doing the edits. I mean, when I finished with it, it was 28,000 words. When she finished with it, it was 50,000 words.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were just amazing. A lot of the emotional part of that book is straight from Shelley Carney, and only because she knows me well enough. And we're already starting right behind me here, there's a wall, and we're already starting on the second book. And she called me the other day, as usual, whenever she her meditating is always a problem. She called me and she said, I think I have an idea for another book. And I said, okay, is it going to be before this one, then the next one, or, et cetera, et cetera. And she said, I want to call it Toby and Shelley, Partnership is the New Romance. And like, she wants to make a point of how far we've come with one another in the past 6 years. And she doesn't mean it in romance in a intimate way. It's like, if you can find a good partner, it's pretty damn good. And I said, okay, let's write it. So.
cool.
Nice. I personally am looking really forward to the next edition of the stories where Toby talks about the fact that you had a passport in an alias name. And what's the name again?
Michael Jonas.
Dang.
Mykaljonas. Yeah.
I got to tell you, Toby, you're not fooling anybody. Yeah, we'll just tell you outright. We know that treasure's hidden in Louisiana.
That's
Magnolia's white as
exactly,
wine.
that's exactly what our counterintelligence would want you to believe. So it's working.
Damn it.
Have you met Mike from Michigan yet, Toby?
I haven't.
Somebody hand Toby some sodium pentothal.
Yeah. She won't let me do this. That's where now I have to really hang up.
Yes.
Because she's trying to-
A couple drinks, darn it.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a bottle of wine.
Oh, I don't know whether I said something tonight and she gave me that look like, oh, hell no, you're going to stop that right now.
I love it when she does that to you. You're
Yeah.
like, just glance over and she's like,
Yeah. She takes it very, she's not going to let this, well, and we don't know. It could be found in a month.
but
We
that's
don't
what you
keep-
need.
in
You need
Louisiana.
someone whipping your butt into being like, this is not going to turn into the fen chase. We are going to keep things strict. No extra info.
Right. And she's really good at it. And I'm still trying to convince her what to do for the first hint. And I'm getting closer and closer every day. It's just I'm
Chip it
wearing her
away.
down. Yeah. So we'll see.
Somebody send her flowers and chocolate, anything.
Yeah, she's got a birthday coming up on October 10th, and we're going to celebrate it. It's a Saturday birthday. So ply her with stones and candy. And yeah, let's see if we can get her to, let's see if we can get her to come across with a hint on her birthday.
I love
See
it.
what we can do.
I love it. And when you get to 50, you come back on my show.
Oh, I do want to make a point. It's 50 reviews. The
50
number up there
reviews.
includes, I mentioned it on our show tonight, the number includes reviews and ratings. Well, I think we have 32 reviews, so we need 18 more reviews, and she made a promise that she'd give us a hint. So she made a promise she'd give us a hint on our treasure hunt.
Awesome. Honestly, though, you should announce that on your show. But then come on.
Yeah,
Mike.
that's not gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been.
Well, thank
I've
you for the
been-
super secret hints. I appreciate them.
Oh, nice. That's good. Really. All right, guys. Thank you very much, Alan, Justin, the beautiful Cynthia, the beautiful Amy. Thank you guys for letting me be on for just a little while. I just wanted to say hi because I wanted to talk about it. We didn't get to talk about it on our show tonight. So thanks for letting me pop in and
Well,
say
and
hello.
anyone in the chat, AGK actually did talk about it earlier. So there's plenty of places for you guys to see some analyzation of the actual stuff. And Toby is someone who is more of an analytical person. So if you want to see an analyzation of the entire thing, Toby, AGK did that a little bit earlier today.
And I have to express my gratitude to you because if it wasn't for you sending me a text message to let me know that was up, there would be no 1 hour show analyzation of Toby. So
We're all texting each other. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guess what?
Thanks for
All
coming
right,
on,
guys.
Toby, and thanks for confirming Louisiana. Appreciate it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
thank
say,
you.
If you're in Louisiana, you're exactly where we want you to be.
Oh,
Oh, dang.
Touche.
welcome to New Mexico.
Welcome to Yellowstone, Toby. Welcome to Yellowstone.
All right, guys. Good
Good
night.
night,
Take care,
Toby.
Toby.
We'll
Look
talk to you
forward
later.
to seeing you soon, Cynthia.
Rios de los Pinos, baby.
Rio de los Pinos. All right. I'm going to
Rolling
try
the
and sign
Rs.
this off. Let me see what happens.
Rios
luck.
de los Pinos. Okay, I'm going to get back to the chat here, people. We have questions for Cynthia. Let's see here. Sunset Pool Rainbow. You have feedback from your team. Sounds really good. Here we go. Sorry, I have to scroll through these. Cynthia. Here we go. Here is one. Can you ask Cynthia what she thinks about the one and only photo in TTOTC that is full color? Justin, damn it.
Bad.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay. Sorry, Nomadic Madman. Or wait, no, that was from CMIS. Sorry, I think. I think the finder must have used scrapbooks to find the chest. Hopefully we'll know soon. Jack, love on the rocks ain't no surprise. I don't know what that means. Okay, scrolling down. Occam's Razor says that I love you. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
That's just Jack hitting on you nonstop.
Okay.
Amy, you're turning red again.
Sorry. Okay. Seamus says, have you ever really looked at the one full color photo? Have you ever really looked at it?
I'm If it's in TTOTC,
I would hope so.
Oh,
Come on, you guys have Cynthia here for like a limited moment. Like, what, Cynthia? What are the craziest things Forrest has ever said to you? Period. Like, those are the craziest stories. Like, what? There's nothing that should be holding you back from anything. There's nothing that should be holding you back anymore. Like, what is, like, I don't know. If he said something crazy, and I'm not talking about jokes and dirty jokes. I'm talking about not closet story of Taos. I understand that's awesome, but I don't know. Like, what amazing things has he said to you that just blew your mind? Or
some of his best stories were when he talked about flying the fighter jets and training and whatever, and the times that he almost crashed like into the ocean. And because it was like, it almost sounded like it was some kind of a mechanical failure on the joystick or the throttle or whatever. And then all of a sudden it worked and he didn't crash. So, I mean, there were stories like that were just like totally amazing. And I think Forrest definitely had 9 lives like a cat, because he should have been dead many times. So.
And he said that in an interview, I think. I mean, someone asked him, I think he said more than a few times he should have died.
Yeah.
Scary.
How many, I want to ask you boys in the room and you girl, because I have a lot of stories like this, but they come up. How many times should you have died in a situation and you're like, holy crap, why am I still alive? Because Forrest has so many of these.
I can certainly think of some. I mean, one time I was in the garage and I was working on my truck and I was stupid and I had turned on the engine just for a minute to check something and I got distracted and I went unconscious from carbon monoxide poisoning and I actually fell out of the truck. And when I fell out, I guess I got like low enough where the jostle woke me up and I was below the carbon monoxide level in the garage. And so I woke up enough to figure out what the heck was going on, and I got out of the garage. But that sort of stuff happens, I guess. Yeah.
Right. So that was like almost like people would say act of God, right? Mm-hmm. So Forrest has all of these.
That was just stupidity for me. Yeah.
It was being stupid. It was being stupid, but still, when you think about what happened, the chain of events that happened to save you, that you didn't die. Well, I guess it's what you believe in, but I certainly had I been you, I would have thought, oh my God. And I don't say an act of God, I say an angel. There was like an angel that saved your ass.
I think some angels are more exhausted than others.
Probably.
I would say Forrest Fenn's angels were exhausted.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. So Cynthia, like obviously, you're someone as people see you as someone who got to know Forrest Fenn personally. And for a lot of people that was, obviously there's envious, there's jealousy, all that other kind of stuff. But in general, you got to hear him tell a dirty joke, right? You got to hear him be him and not the person who created the thrill of the chase. As far as what you would like people to remember about him, we have the humor, right? We have, he was a real person. What else would you like to make sure that people remember?
Well, this isn't something so much that I want people to remember, but just something about him that I don't think is real common knowledge, was his generosity in offering to pay medical bills for searchers or someone in their family that had, whether it be an operation or whatever, to where the bills really racked up. And I thought that was something that was incredible for him to do, to offer searchers financial assistance.
He did.
I mean, when there were really good reasons. And I know I've had more than one searcher tell me that he offered to do this. And according to the searchers that told me this, they did not accept his offer because they did not need it, whether it was insurance or whatever. They didn't actually need the money. But I thought it was fantastic of him to offer that kind of chunk of change for someone. I mean, so it's
and he didn't want people to know that.
I mean, so everybody knew, you know, he had that the bookstore had the cancer
right
piece of the sale of the books. Yeah. But this was not necessarily that. I mean, this was something coming from him. So I thought that was pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. There were a lot of things he did that he did not want other people to know he was doing because it had nothing to do with the reason he was doing it.
Right.
It's altruism. I feel like he was a truly altruistic person. And that's where you find out things that he did that he didn't care if anyone knew,
right.
And that's what altruism is, which is just doing good to do good. And he seemed like that guy. I never met him, and I wish I had, but he seemed like an altruistic being. And I mean that by being, like he was just a altruistic person, human.
Right. There was a big part of him that wanted to just leave the world better.
Right.
You know, there's a big part of him
down to his last day. You know, the whole selflessness around not divulging the identity of the finder because he requested anonymity, that came at a huge price, and he took that in stride and kept his word. He lost
credibility.
That's right.
About the entire thrill of the chase just to protect a stranger who found it. I mean, I don't know if I would do that. I mean, okay, so I would, but right. Okay, sure. Fine. But at the same time, it would still suck.
It comes at a cost.
Comes at a huge cost. Conspiracy theories, all of it, you know, when so many of us sacrificed a lot trying to find this treasure chest. And granted, yes, we got to see, you know, well, I didn't get to see trails, but you know, in general, most people did. But I mean,
it's not too late.
Now I actually do get to hike around, you know, I get to go to the lake. I'm like, I'm free. So now I get to go 4-wheeling, all that kind of stuff. It's very fun. But for me, it was an armchair treasure hunt, right? So I spent all of my time not doing all those things I wanted to do. It was a huge sacrifice for 5 years. It hurt. It sucked. I didn't like it. But for me, I'm honest here, I was in it for the financial security for my family's future, right? My friends and family. Friends, if needed me, right? Then I can help support them and all that kind of stuff. That was just such a huge part of it. And so I understand all of those people where the emotions run high when, you know, like that's why I'm less critical of people, of the haters, right? You know, the drama, the haters. I'm less critical because I do understand that emotionally, when you sacrifice so much, emotions are going to run high and conspiracy theories are going to feel real. And that's going to happen. And I have sympathy for those people because I don't think they're evil. You know, I don't see these people as evil. I know that some of them are having a really, really, really hard time dealing with it. I know that some of them maybe have a black hole of insecurity, right? There's all these different reasons. But in general, we were all just working so hard to find this thing. I mean, so that's, you know, like, that's why I really love having like Justin and like anyone who also just spent so much time searching for this thing, but they're giving a great example of how to be good losers. You know, it's like
I never claimed to be a good loser. That's
yes, but look at you. You know, you're
Justin
not
looks like a goddamn winner to me. So I don't know.
You're not buying into the conspiracy theories really fast, right? You know what I mean? It's the whole, I didn't find it. It sucks. It hurts. I spent all this time trying, but I didn't find it. And I'm going to have to learn how to be okay with that.
You know, there's a quote that comes to mind I always think of around the chase, and that is when we replace a sense of service and gratitude with a sense of entitlement and expectation, we quickly see the demise of our relationships, society, and economy. And I think that that holds true for this chase. If you keep in mind that you should have gratitude for the experiences that you've had, the relationships that you've formed, and that you're better for it in the end, instead of looking at it from a view of entitlement that I was meant to find this and I didn't, or I expected to find this and I didn't. There's a big distinction there. And I think just looking at it in the right light makes a big difference.
It has.
I'm writing you in. I'm voting and I'm writing you in.
It's your perspective. It's so.
That's what it is. Yeah.
True. I was raised in a family where if you started feeling sorry for yourself, you got slapped around. It was just like, oh, we don't do that. No. There was no poor me. There was no why are things unfair. It was a message of life's unfair. If you focus on that, your life is going to suck. So if you learn to be grateful, and anyone who looks at history, dear God, we are living in a time where, I mean, look, it's a terrible time, but I mean, think about medieval history. I mean, it's a time where we have medical care, like there's problems with it. There's all this stuff. But I mean, when you just compare things in a real life perspective of human history, gratefulness is the only thing you can feel. And nobody held a gun to my head and said, you have to figure out how to figure out this force fen chase. Nobody did that. I knew that maybe it would turn out like the masquerade. I knew that maybe someone, it might turn out bad. And I wanted to take the risk because I thought maybe I could solve it. I took that risk. Me. Nobody else forced me to do it. Nobody. And so that's in our family, personal responsibility, and then gratitude. And here we are. There's 90 people watching at 11:40. Oh God, it's 11:42.
10:42 in my world.
Oh my Lord. Okay. So, whether we like it or not, we did form a community. The good, the bad, the misfits, it's all a reflection of our humanity. And here we are, still desperate for information, smiling, laughing, discussing, answering questions from the chat, because we're human and we want that connection. And so the gratitude is what will lead you, everyone out there, the gratitude will lead you to a place where you will find contentment.
I concur. No, I think you hit the nail on the head, and it seems pretty clear to me that Forrest Hunt has kind of spurred something that I don't know if we really even realized we needed. Before the hunt, you didn't see a lot of these treasure hunts and people kind of making up chases for other folks in the community, and that has come to a whole new level now. And I think what that's illuminated is that there's something missing here. People want a way to get out and connect with nature and have fun and solve puzzles at the same time. It's just a fun experience, and it's neat to see that in a way Forrest's legacy lives on by folks kind of emulating what he's done in the past. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I mean, we know he wasn't perfect. Nobody is, right? But a lot of people put him on a pedestal, and he did his best to live up to that. And then what you take away from that, of course, is the best things from the chase. The quote you said was, I love that. I love that. I love that.
I do too.
That's one of the best ones. Where is that from? Do you remember?
Steve Mara, something or other. There was actually, it was from a book that he wrote that I read quite a while back.
Yeah.
I'd have to follow up with you on that. I don't recall offhand. That's probably the wine.
Bring it back to me.
Yeah.
So,
But
you know, I
that-
think, yeah, go for it.
I was just going to comment that that's what I love of what you just said about this community. The fact that the chase is over and it's been over for, 3-5 months, and we're all still here. Like, we're all still here interacting, chatting, laughing, making fun of each other or whatever, asking each other what their ideas are. Some people say the chase is over, but other people are still searching. Like, some people still want to know. Other people don't, but they're still here. And that is the thrill of the chase. And it's just amazing how Forrest planted that seed in all of our heads. And if you don't agree with that, you wouldn't even be here. So every single one of you that is listening to this right now, Forrest planted that seed in your brain. And that's what's completely amazing to me. And I've never done that to a group this large. He's just such a teacher and a leader. And now it's in our hands, I guess, all of our hands to
And the
kind of
finder.
carry that seed. Yep. And the finder, of course.
That's right. That quote from the finder where he said, "It's in my hands."
It's
Man.
awesome to see that the finder has taken some responsibility there, recognizes that they have an obligation to the continued legacy of Forrest in a way that speaks volumes to me. But the fact that we're here close to midnight or past midnight for some folks, we've got 85 people here after this chase is over, just like you're mentioning, Alan, I think that speaks volumes to what's happened over the last several years. And that, to me, that's my biggest impetus for wanting to recreate something that could never be on par with what Forrest has created, but something, to kind of give back to the community. Because I feel just by virtue of being part of it and searching as much as I have, that I, I'm ingrained as much as anybody, and that, I think as a community, we kind of owe it to each other to try and extend that in whichever way we see fit.
I think that's why there's been such a boom in treasure hunts.
I
And
agree.
all of them being Forrest Fenn related, Forrest Fenn
That's
inspired,
right.
Forrest Fenn inspired, Forrest Fenn inspired, Forrest.
What an incredible inspiration. That's really cool to think about.
Yeah. Oh, a world where it's like, there's too many treasure hunts. What do I choose from? What a great problem to have.
That's true. When Forrest Hunt first came out, and I remember reading about it, I was just absolutely blown away that in my lifetime, I have the opportunity to participate in a hunt where, it's significant value. The creator is still alive, and there's, enough compelling evidence and respect for the man to give him the benefit of the doubt to believe that it actually occurred. Like that. That's incredibly rare. For me, I just feel blessed that even happened during my lifetime. It's pretty cool.
That is exactly how I felt when it came out. I was just like, oh, I was like, oh, and I looked at the poem and I'm like, oh, I have no idea where that is. I'm going to have to buy the book. Like,
that's so true. Most people that know me would call me eccentric. And as soon as I read that story, I knew it was game over. Like I was in this hook, line, and sinker. So,
And there's a few more questions from chat. One of them is from Lisa Smith, who says, Cynthia, and I already know the answer to this. Are you going to be trying any other hunts?
Yes.
Which
I'm
one?
going to probably do the Vegas dye one because I live here.
Oh.
It's a great idea.
It'll give me something to do over the winter time when I can't still keep looking for the nook where the treasure chest was hidden.
It's in your back pocket.
It was always in your back pocket, Cynthia. Cynthia, it's going to be solved before winter.
I'm sorry?
The Vegas dye is solved before winter.
Well, will we?
Go ahead, Alan. Sorry.
No, I'm just laughing. Sorry, I had nothing to say.
Jack, did you say the finder is taking it in his hands? Oh my. I don't know what that means either.
Well, there was the quote, from the article
In the
that was
story.
published today that mentioned that, the finder understands that he has some degree of responsibility here. Yeah.
The thrill of the chase, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I still have a little bit more here. Pure vodka, of course. I think
the one thing I keep seeing, sorry to interrupt. The one thing I keep seeing that I will argue with is when people say, let's chase the finder, let's find the finder. Like, I hate that. Like, let the man or woman be. If they want to be anonymous, totally let that be. But I also want that same person to let us know a little more information. So I do not like the thought of anyone chasing someone that wants to be anonymous and wants to protect their family. So I just want to get that out in the open.
Yeah, that's part of the conversation Cynthia and I had about the information she was sharing earlier, because we were like, okay, this doesn't violate the finder's information at all, right? We wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to cause any issues for that, because the last thing you want to cause for anybody anytime is harm or stress, or who wants to make somebody else's life miserable? Nobody. And then there's one more question for Cynthia. Do you know if Forrest was writing that full autobiography, or if that got cut off?
Oh, that ended the pandemic. So the person that was writing the biography that needed to talk to Forrest, the pandemic ruined it, because the person wanted to actually go to Fenn's house to talk more with him, and he couldn't. So the writer just said he's not doing it anymore then. So it just got dropped.
Wow, that is so sad. I'm going to not think about that. So
I think the sad part here, to me, kind of a bittersweet ending. Back in 1978, Harvard, they did a study, and they gave houseplants to two groups of nursing home residents. And one group was told that they're responsible. They got to keep this plant alive, and they have total autonomy in their daily schedule to do this. And the other group was told that the staff would care for their plant. And after 18 months, twice as many people in the group given responsibility for their plant were still alive.
Oh my God. And
that, to me, I think speaks volumes for Forrest. I think the chase and the community was keeping him going. And for it to end, especially the way it did, and I'm sure that it didn't end the way that he anticipated it ending. That was his plant. That's what he was tending to and keeping going. And once that ended, they say mind over matter. I think the mind had a huge impact in terms of just physical health. It was a pretty big bummer of an ending, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree we would have liked to have seen it end differently. I think there's no question with anyone in the chase that, I'm going to cry.
So, Justin, don't you think the fact that the finder came forward today with that story, I mean, at least that's progress towards an ending and closure. I mean, I'm probably the happiest person in the chase community today, because it's like, my God, that's one step further. So, I mean, there was so much controversy. Was there really a finder, or did Forrest just end it for whatever his reason and have Shiloh go get it? And that was a rural common thought among the chase community. This to me just solidified the fact there is a finder. And I am so happy to know that's just one more question I don't have now. Yes, there is a finder. So now I have hope. I mean, after Forrest passed away, it's like, oh my God, we're never going to know anything more. Well, now it appears there really is a finder, and now there is hope that, again, maybe we will learn.
We'll know more. I mean, he says he's going to give more information, just not apparently some.
Like I said,
but I'll take it.
like I said earlier tonight, I'm so hungry for any information to answer any of my questions. I can't wait for this person to release more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know that if there had been zero drama in the chase, the finder probably would have just really had fun coming out, right? We know that that's probably true. But it's human nature. It's the spectrum of humanity that there are a percentage of people who have a difficult time controlling their emotions, do tend to be more angry in general, or maybe they desire attention, whatever the psychology is. And unfortunately, that has left us all in this position. It's a position where the finder does feel like staying anonymous is the best choice for him and his family. And we can't help but respect that and be so grateful for today. Thank you. Let's all say thank you in the chat to the finder. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Along, Amy, so addressing the people, I mean, his reason for staying anonymous, just look at the nut job Barbara, what's her name? Barbara Anderson. So, I mean, how
but the people suing, right?
Right mind, after all that, why would you ever come forward with your name? You'd have to be nuts.
Okay, here's a question for the chat.
I wouldn't be surprised if now she sues the finder of the story that was published today. The woman is fucking crazy. So,
she's going to sue small, medium. She's going to sue small, medium, right? And large.
I mean, it just seems to me that one lawsuit.
No, but I do get it. Basically, the fact that there was only, I mean, the chance of more lawsuits if he came forward seems highly probable, whether it be from her or anyone else. It just does seem highly probable. Yeah. So if you were the finder in the chat, would you come forward? If you were the finder, everyone in the chat, would you come forward? Yes or no?
Yes, no.
That's the trouble is that, at least from my perspective, like if you had a plan like I did to rehide this thing, it's hard to do that if you're anonymous because people just don't believe you, and it's like you need someone who's backing that has some level of respect in order for it to be legitimate. And so, remaining anonymous would be challenging in that sort of situation, but I can totally understand and empathize with the finder, just in terms of the fear that sets in. And, you're seeing what's happening to Forrest with all these lawsuits. And it's very clear that if you were not anonymous, then lawsuits would be launched against you. So I don't hold any ill regard for the finder's choice.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. I mean, if you have a family, especially, which he says in that thing, he has a family. You have to protect your family. And we all saw what happened to Forrest and his family. There's no option for the finder to come forward until he's, sold the chest for $10 million and can afford the security system. It's a fearful position. So there's been 2 times in my life where I have been officially stalked. And it changes how you can function in the environment. It does. You cannot function, relax. You cannot be relaxed ever. Anytime even in your house, you cannot be relaxed. And those are minor things, right? What Forrest went through was much, much worse than that. And I'm guessing the finder would, and his family, like I say, family, man, what we would do to protect our family. There's just, it's like we gave the finder no option to come forward. Mm-hmm. At least until he felt like he can make sure his family was going to be safe no matter what.
That's a good point. It's funny a lot. I hear people saying that, the finder has tied Forrest's hands, and it's almost the opposite, or not quite the opposite, but the community has tied the finder's hands. The bad apples in the community have really, I think, caused this to happen. If the community was good through and through,
Kumbaya.
Didn't have these bad apples, then there would be less reason for anonymity.
Right. Then the only reason would be... No, go for it.
I was going to say, we're just tying our own hands. Like the finder's hands are perfectly free. he is holding the chest, or he's holding 10 mil. Forrest has passed and gone, and he's free. We are tying our own hands by being
Right.
by being filled with hatred, and
We're shooting ourselves
you
in
know,
the foot.
Exactly. So
Machine
sad.
guns.
no one's hands are tied except for our own. Like,
Right.
so
Yeah, the only reason I mentioned that the finder's hands are tied is maybe from his perspective, he wants to do right by Forrest, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe Forrest did want more information divulged, but you know, his reticence to do that is based on the community's reaction. So
Yeah. So maybe we've shot ourselves in the foot with a machine gun, and the finder's hands are tied as well. So we have both going on. But
a
it's
bummer.
true. Especially having a family, what would you do to protect your family if you saw what happened to Forrest's family? I don't think any
keep
of
my
us.
mouth shut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's no choice. If you knew that saying something would put your family in danger, crap, then you have no options. So yeah, so I agree. The finder even coming forward right now is like, thank you.
But I will still say, you could, just like you could anonymously sell this chest for wherever it's going to go,
Like it's
you could anonymously announce the location of where you found it. And that's a whole different conversation. Like, you want to keep the
6 hours
location
later.
secret. But I'm just saying, you could stay anonymous and divulge more information than he has yet to divulge, is all I'm saying.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely
so?
ways to divulge information, I think. I
You
mean, he
think
could
he's
have done
going
it
to
in that
then?
article today, right? Like, it seems pretty clear to most folks that that was written by the finder. And if you agree with that, then, you know, anything contained therein, you would tend to believe. So if he mentioned the starting location or some sort of hint, then that would have been a great venue to do that. I still go back to, you know, my comment around him having a responsibility to protect the sanctity of the location where it was found.
That's
I
that
think
too,
there's
right?
some merit to that.
There's
Totally
so
agree
many
with that.
facets to this. It's like that diamond you found. There's like a billion facets to this that just keeping up with all the different reasons of, the place being more sacred. And maybe he's gonna spread some of Fenn's ashes there, right? Maybe there's so many things we don't know.
That was an answer. I mean, he answered, that was a special question he answered on Mysterious Writings to me in October 2018. I asked him, like, if you can't make it back to the spot, would you want your ashes spread there? And he said, yes, but in order to do so, I would have to tell someone the location, and I'm not going to do that. But now someone knows the location, so that makes perfect sense that that's going to be his intent, that he either wants bones or ashes or something planted there. And to everyone's point that has already talked, like, you don't spread your ashes somewhere and then tell everyone where that was, because it's going to get trampled upon. It's not, anyways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, you're making me really sad because we're not going to know the solution, and I'm going to have to throw myself off of that big cliff that is in all these doodles.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. The chase is going to continue per the article, but I don't think it's going to lead to the same spot. I think something else is going to happen. Like, it's not going to be the same chest. It's not going to be the same prize. It's not going to be the same spot. And that's totally fine with me.
Well, he did allude to something else. But what? Okay. So this is where I'm at. Obviously, I'm going nuts like all the rest of you. And I'm hopeful now. I'm hopeful. Thank you, Finder. You gave us all hope.
Yeah.
Forrest is grinning. Not smiling, but grinning. So it is now 12:04.
That's my bedtime, guys. I'm gonna check out.
Yeah.
I know that there's still 75 of you in the room, which is
don't let me stop you. You're welcome
for
to keep
joining us. Well, at some point, I mean, you know, I know it's fun when people say, well, wait till there's 15, but with the excitement of the day, that might not ever happen. So, you know, I just want to say thank you guys, and Dale too, and Gypsy's Kiss, and everyone who was on earlier. I adore having these little Zoom meetings where everyone gets to chat and everything. And thank you everyone in the chat. You know, thank you everyone who's watching. I mean, just thank you. We are a community. We do our best to not buy into the drama. It's out there. It's okay. We're going to spread the love, not focus on the hate, all of that stuff. We're going to do our best to do what Force Fen would have really been proud of us doing, which is, you know, letting other people alone and focusing on what we built as a community. So, and you guys just have the most wonderful words. Oh, yes, the buffalo hat.
That's you.
Alan,
that's definitely you. I can see you walking through the meadows along the Lamar River.
You got to put it down and then
just charge some tourists. Yeah. Thank you, Amy, for hosting. Very nice to be here.
Yeah. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
I'm going to start squeaking. So stop. But, you know, we love you guys. This is not a money-making thing. We do this because it's a community and it means a lot to us. So awesome discussion. Oh my God. And so we are going to be signing off. I don't know what else to say. You guys have some parting words? We're all good. What do you?
Adios.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
If we haven't said it by now.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Sleep sweet. Dream of various chests, as Dale said.
That's a little too broad.
Bye, Cynthia. You're my spirit animal.
Good night, guys.
There you go. I love you guys all. Mwah. You have a wonderful night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Cynthia.
Take
Bye,
care.
Alan.
Bye, Justin.
Bye, everybody.
All righty.